Loshak at? The bottle's getting empty, I'm not cracking, we stacking. Chips, all of this, what I want, plus money when it's that's what I'm on. You can say I'm gone, I prefer elevated pump sports radio. Time to get educated, Bouquett produced, made the juice letting loose with so much abuse that the bookies wanna call it truth. They getting slaughtered, can't forget Jeff and Low Baggers in the chat. That's a lethal weapon cause we lead. Oh yeah, pubbing. We be pubbing!
Yo, hey everyone, welcome to Pub Sports Radio. Sorry, I'm just posting this shit to Twitter, getting acclimated. Jimmy the Bag. His name's Jimmy the Bag. My name's Peter Loshak. We do this every Tuesday. It's a lot of fun. You know, I'm having fun. I have fun even when I lose, but when I win, I have a bit more fun. Or, I don't know, a different kind of fun, a better kind of fun. But the magnitude of the fun is still the same. We got everyone in the comments section. We got an interesting, the NHL playoffs in full swing. I'm going to definitely have a lot of fun breaking the hell out of this game with you, Jimmy the Bag. I think I have a bunch of plays that I'm really liking. As far as the games are concerned, the NHL playoffs, player props are a little bit dicier, I think, but I'll probably give out a few anyway. MLB, I haven't had time to price out my strikeout props, which I like to do, but maybe I'll do that on the fly. And what I'm trying to say is, I think it's going to be a good show. Our best ever, probably not, but a little bit above average, very likely. How you doing, Jimmy the Bag?
I am doing very well. Thank you to everybody joining us. Pete, I can't think about anything except for Operation Garcia. Operation Garcia is I just can't stop thinking about it. I have all of the numbers for everybody to see where we're at. I don't know why here, show chat. Let's get this chat up here.
Pete, do me a favor and back up a little bit from the mic.
Me? Okay. All right.
Yes, you. No, you're just a little hot, so just back up a little bit. Thank you. But you
turn
sound
down
lovely.
So then
Yep,
that
you
intro
sound
wasn't
lovely.
pleasant and interesting and fun. It was just kind of annoying.
No, you sound lovely. You're just loud.
Right,
We
okay.
appreciate you.
All right. We'll do some tweaks and then just get it perfect, and then let me know, and then I'll just leave it exactly where it is. Okay. How's that? How's that?
I love it's sounding better and better. I love that you have a mic. It's great. It's absolutely great. I just can't think about anything other than Operation Garcia right now. We're all waiting for the cease and desist. And I imagine it'll come any minute. None of this would be possible without the great Dennis Garcia. We started doing this 3 playoffs ago, or 2 playoffs back, 3 years ago. It worked very well. I tracked every single thing he did last year. It worked very well again. And this year is just insane. No games have gone to overtime. So we're 159 and 110. And I've missed some of the late additions. A couple of late additions I've missed. Those late additions are gold. Also, the plus money unders are ludicrously gold. But 59.1%, it's up 31.95 units. It's an ROI plus 11.88%. An average line minus 114. And I'm up $5,860, Pete, on $200 bets. I imagine that my local could be watching right now. I imagine that he's going to shut me down, any minute. Maybe he's smiling, thinking that he's made so much more money than I've made.
That's the smart way to do it.
And that could be very much possible. If I had done $500 unit, there's zero chance I would be allowed to keep betting them. So we've done 6 days and 17 games. We're 13-4 over those 17 games. The best game for us was last night, Magic Cavaliers, 13-5 plus 7.5 units. I made $1,294. The worst game was game 1, Heat at Celtics. So the very, very worst game was 8-9 down 2.2 units. I lost $498 on that game. So I've not tweeted any of this out. I'm not going to. We know who brought us to the dance. His name is Dennis Garcia. He's been a lovely date. And I can't really think about anything else, Pete. Although there's some familiar names at the top of our NHL playoff pool. That brought a smile to my face. Jose, can you pop up our NHL playoff pool? right now? Can you pop that up for us? And it's nice to see. It's nice to see top of the leaderboard, right ahead of Slatsy and my mom. It just doesn't get better than that. Also, I've offered Jose buy-in, $200 worth of buy-ins to our football pools last year if he beats me. So it's nice to be way ahead of him.
10 ahead of me. I realized that you, your mom, and Slatsy all have one guy in common that dominated last night.
Evan Bouchard.
The fucking defenseman for the fucking Oilers. It's ridiculous.
Yes, it's very, very nice. So I don't know how long it will last, but it sure is nice to see my name up there and my mom's and Slatsy's. Now there's some very tough competition right behind me. So we'll just take it, day by day. It's the only thing that's keeping me off thinking about Operation Garcia. So again, we'll be on Operation Garcia. Look, there's questions about Operation Garcia. I don't know when the perfect time to get the player props in. I think waiting till the end is not the right idea because then it's kind of the lazier idea because then you get all of the extra additions. I think that you should get in earlier. I'm still figuring that out. Also, we've done it for 6 days and 17 games. Do I expect to be here next Tuesday talking about it? Yeah, but I'm sure I'll be shut down. Can we go to Vegas and bet these plays? I mean, all these questions that maybe you're asking yourselves, we are all asking because we're all making disgusting amounts of money on it. And we're going to figure this out. That's all we can do is just figure it out. But, this Operation Garcia on top of this great run that we've been on for the last, 6 or 7 weeks it's everything, Pete, that you talked about when we started. You want to be around sharp and smart friends. You'd never want to be jealous of how smart and sharp your friends are. I'm never going to be jealous of Dennis Garcia's sharpness. I'm only going to be very thankful for his sharpness and very thankful for his friendship. Do I listen? Like Pete always talked about, I'm listening nonstop to all of you. I copy and paste all of your comments. I go over all of your comments nonstop. We are working together. Did I ever believe that the books had a hole? No. I thought the books had no holes. And clearly we found the first blatant hole. The future of the story is left to be written. And we go from there. Shout out to all the cappers in the chat. Justin McKelvey, stacks play today. Jordan Alvarez, RBI plus 115. I tell you what it does, though, Pete. It gets me so excited. It gets me so inspired. Everything I've ever wanted in sports gambling, I'm getting from this community. Everything. And I can't think of anything else but what we are doing. I can't think of anything else but capping. From 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock, I'm a dad, and I take a deep breath, and I let everything go, and we have dinner, and we do homework with the kids and all that stuff. But God, right here, and here, and here, and here, and here, I'm thinking about what we are doing. TJ in the house. We got razor sharp picks coming off a 3-0 day. That Vegas Dallas first period over 1.5, or Vegas first period over 1.5 in the playoff trends. He's just been cashing. Shout out to razor sharp picks. There's Nuki in the house. Says Loshak in the bag for everything else. There's MasterCard. I got my Loshak in the bag shirt on right now. Rocking my Loshak in the bag shirt on, wearing my Canucks hat. I am fading them tonight. Crystal Craig in the house. Gerald Jones, serious business. Great to see Crystal Craig. Love capping with you, Crystal. Gerald Jones, serious business. Every time I say the name serious business, I lock in. Mikey Money, ready to get to work. Troy Torrance, the Dapper Capper, Nasty Nate. Leonard Porsche Jr. says, God bless Dennis Garcia. He says, player props. Another thing about this is that if you get limited, and if they cut off your player props, if they ban you, if they kick you out of a book, please DM me. We're trying to figure all of this out together, and that would be very helpful information. Morgan Spooner says Giants and Rangers money line are his favorite looks today. Let's copy and paste that. I know we have a ton of work to do, Peter, but I know how important the chat is, and if it takes a little bit of extra time for me to copy and paste all of it, I'm going to do it. Big Show picks in the house. Marcus McCarthy, Jay Peasy, my dude, Steve G says, shout out to the Denver Nuggets, most exciting NBA game I've ever seen. Wow, Steve. It was glorious. I got in on the Nuggets plus 5.5, plus 3.5, because I was beating myself up for not doing that at minus 1.5 in game one. I was thankful that all came through. Mikey Money says first half NBA under smash. It was 15-2 after the first game last night. Mikey Money been crushing those. And you know what he loves. He loves his trends, and he gets the money. Subhuman Gaucho, Subhuman Soccer Play today is Don Caster. Jason Torres shouting out Mikey Money saying he cooked yesterday. No, he just cooks. He's a cook, man. He just cooks day in and day out. Joey Harb, Jay Smooth Balls Play today is Baltimore run line. The Clark Edge ready to get to work. Von Polo coming off a great weekend. That Ryan Garcia fight was crazy. Shout out to Preston Ekdahl and Danny Betts for their great breakdown on that fight as well. And they dropped the biggest boxing matches that we get. They break them all down here on Pub Sports Radio. So Matthew Green, great to see you. Brian Watson, Dave Redling. I don't like that word that you have after Preds, but I also like them tonight. D-Rock, and I'll tell you the plan as well with these player props here. Nasty Nate says, has your stinky jacket helped your bets, Pete? I would like to answer that question. In the last 3 shows wearing that jacket, Pete, you are 53-28, 65.4% plus 25.9 units, ROI plus 24.5%, and average line minus 114. How magical is that jacket? Or is it just you, Pete? Is it just you?
No, but it could be. I put the Boss and the Sauce sticker on the back of my computer when I came back from San Antonio as well. So I thought it was the jacket, but now I'm like, it might be the Boss and the Sauce show sticker on my computer. I don't know what it is. I'm happy about it, Jimmy the Bag. I'm happy for all of you. I'm happy to hear everyone doing well. All our friends, doing well, having a good time in life. Yeah, everything's good. It's nice to not be overwhelmed with college basketball, college football, college sports at all. It's just overwhelming. You know what I mean?
This is the perfect time of year. This is the perfect time of year for us to make money. And we've shown that year after year after year. This is, when NHL and NBA come to playoffs, I find it quite easy. Easy is not the right word, but we had the motivation factors the last 2 weeks of the season, and now we have the situational bets, game 2s, game 3s, game 4s, which we're going to be all over. Dave Redling, NJ Striker, Slatsy, all of you guys, Rodney Barton in the house, Hunter Engelhart says Loshak with the fur. I love seeing you guys. Kong's Clips now on X, now on Twitter. He's at Kong's Clips. I followed him. Says, great news. My treatment for my liver is being approved. It's absolutely wonderful news. Kong, our guy. Coin ready to go with Leonard Porsche Jr. Everybody's ready to go, Pete. So let's do exactly that. Truth Teller joining us. Great to see you, Truth Teller. Brahma B. Thank you guys for joining us, Pete. It is time to get into NHL. And I've had a very low volume as I try my hardest with game 1s to stay away. So I'm just 2-2, down 0.25 units in NHL, and I can't wait to attack this card. We're going NHL, MLB, NBA. Pete, let's head on to the ice and take it away. Let's get started.
Okay, right on. Jose Bouquett, tell me if my audio is too low now or whatever. Let me know because I'm not hearing. All right. So what are we starting with, Jimmy the Bag? Sorry. What are we starting with?
Washington Capitals.
Oh, NHL. Right. Okay. Right. NHL. All right. I mean, this one I think is just I'm definitely going to add this one to my slate, right? Let's go Rangers. They're just that good. I know that the President's Trophy teams oftentimes don't win the cup and they falter in the playoffs, and maybe that'll happen to the Rangers. You would know better than I, but in this series they should dominate. Could they lose this game? Sure. The current lines, is there value on betting on them to win again? I think so. So I'm going to take the Rangers -1 for sure, unless you tell me definitely not to. And I'll probably double or triple up one way or another, maybe a race to 2, race to 3, Rangers team total over, something like that. I think I lean over. The Capitals, aren't getting offense, so I think they're going to try to get some wins by getting more offense, which means they probably will be a little bit successful, and probably means that the Rangers score even more. So leaning over, definitely going to take Rangers, and probably going to take Rangers race to 3 or race to 2 or something like that. Is there anything that it seems very obvious, but am I wrong, Jim?
No, you are not wrong. And shout out to TJ. He will be at Madison Square Garden this evening. You're not wrong. You're not wrong, but I don't know exactly. I'm not that interested, honestly, in betting this hockey game. Copy and pasting BJ's best. Yeah, I'm not really, but maybe that's a mistake. And I've made 3 bets. I made 3 bets yesterday for today's card early yesterday. I thought I was going to beat the line moves, and we'll see if that. It did not come to fruition. It looked like that was the case initially. Let me just copy and paste our guy BJ's action. BJ, thank you for sharing that for us. Yeah, we've seen home teams dominate in the NHL playoffs thus far. My dad's talking about it too. And he's always said that home ice in the regular season is overvalued, and it can't be valued enough in the playoffs. But this is an extreme example that we're seeing. We have Charlie Lindgren going up against Igor Shesterkin. From a market perspective here, we're going to be using Pinnacle lines. We have the Rangers at minus 274, opened up at minus 270, now 274, 4 cents movement towards them. I agree with that move. From a total side of things, the under 5.5 is minus 111. It's funny. I was upset that I didn't get in on the under in that Washington Rangers game 1. And after the first period 0-0, I took the over 3.5, and that cashed in about 6 minutes. And then only one other goal was scored. The 4-1 was the final. Washington 20.6% power play. The Rangers penalty killing is very good at 84.5%. And we're going to get into what's gone on with Ovechkin. He's, being smothered. Washington penalty killing at 79.0. Rangers power play 26.4. So the Rangers were better than the Capitals in every facet of the game. They outshot them 31-21, out hit them 33-21, won 54.8% of the faceoffs. They were leading 3-1 after 2 periods. So you'd think then in the third period, you'd get that Capitals pushback. That didn't happen. The Rangers outshot them 15-6. They completely shut down Alexander Ovechkin, who had no shots on goal. He was only held without a shot on goal 5 times in the regular season. Rempe, Panarin scored 33 seconds apart. Jimmy Vesey had a goal and an assist. Kreider scored. Barclay Goodrow had 2 assists. Laviolette, he's just been there and done that. He's a very experienced coach. 6 different teams he's taken the Stanley Cup playoffs. So now the Rangers have won 3 straight. They've won 11 of 14. Who is going to stop the New York Rangers? Spencer Carberry's done a spectacular job as a coach. He's gotten every last ounce from this Capitals team, but they have problems. They have Vinny Iorio, who's a Coquitlam, BC kid, and he's 21 years old. He's had to step in because Rasmus Sandin out with the upper body, Nick Jensen out with the upper body. Now it's possible that Jensen comes back, but Iorio got smashed. He got hit hard by Lafreniere. Lafreniere, what a monster. I mean, he's got all of the skills, and now he's showing the size and the toughness. He's the real deal. Too bad Capo Caco sucks so much, but it's good for the rest of the NHL. Remember that Ethan Bear also went to rehab, so you're just missing so many. They're depth defensemen that you need badly, and they don't have them. Filipino is close to being ready to go. I don't know if there's a spot in the lineup for him. Coin says feels like another low-scoring game on the Garden tonight. So what would you get on the Rangers -1? I don't know if it's, the Capitals are going to give every ounce of themselves in this hockey game, and the Rangers might be feeling a little good about themselves, and they should. They're a great hocky team.
I'm definitely going to take it. I'm going to take the Pinnacle line -1, -188, -1, -188, and I might take the bet online race to 3, which is just -130. So you think Washington to come in with a different strategy and maybe make it like extremely low scoring? Is that something they'd be capable of doing?
I think that Tom Wilson is going to knock somebody out. I think that this is a situation where they're just going to pull out all stops, and I get it. And maybe that -188's value. The Rangers are a phenomenal hockey team, but I don't want to get involved in this. The Capitals have shown a ton of heart all year. Mm-hmm. Is the first period going to go under? I mean, they're going to, it's just, this is the type of spot where they have a weaker team on the ropes, and that weaker team's going to throw everything at them. And is it? I don't see where the value is. Also, and also when that first game was so clearly under, the Capitals are going to stretch. They're going to take risks in this game. Offensively, they're going to take
Right.
risks, and that leads me away from the under. And I had Bobano's thoughts going through my head. We cashed the Islanders Carolina game 1 under. We lost the first period under, but we easily cashed the full game under. And I had him in my head about how he thought this was going to be a much higher scoring series than people expected. You know what, Pete? I'm ready to move on past this game. I've got enough action. I've got lots of action. I can understand anybody who wants to be on the Rangers here. They're a very good hockey team, and they're playing against a much weaker opponent. But it's game 2 of the Stanley Cup playoffs, and this is in Madison Square Garden in New York, and you have a Carberry-coached hockey team that's going to leave it all out on the ice, and I don't find it appealing here to.
All right.
Yeah.
I think that the talent might just be too much there. So I am going to take Rangers -1, -188. And it also might lose, but it's a low line. I am going to take Lafreniere point, which should be about, I'll shop around. It should be about 120 or 125 or so. Lafreniere point. And yeah, I guess they might shut down Chris. I'd love to take Kreider point, but that's up at like, -190 or 200. So I'll hold off on that one. But those two I will make official. The Rangers -1 and Lafreniere point. And I kind of, I would love to take race to 3 for the Rangers. But you all right, we're going to move on. But you think that Washington does have the personnel to threaten them for, is there any way Washington gets 3 goals here before the Rangers do?
I mean, I wouldn't expect it, but we watched the Islanders go up 3-0 on Carolina. Did anybody expect that? And I didn't live bet Carolina. I was in my head with my whole Lamoriello and the 5 along the red line. I got in my head about the trap hockey coming, and I definitely missed the opportunity to live bet. Even when it was 3-1 and there was 6 minutes left, I believe in the second, but I didn't, unfortunately. Yeah, Pete, I'm just not interested here. And, Ricky Levine saying the Rangers are going to win the Cup, I'd be fine if that happened. That would just be good for the NHL. We want the big market teams to succeed. So,
all right. I'm actually going to take the Bet Online line, which is -117 on Lafreniere point. And I just think that the race to 3 is just so good. But all right, maybe I'll add on later, but I'll hold off for now.
And shout out to Razor Sharp Picks, giving us the Parks full card at Parks. Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing all your hard work. And don't forget the enormous scores Razor's had at this very horse track. So, it's great. Thank you, Razor, for sharing your hard work with us, my man. And can't wait to celebrate the Triple Crown with you here shortly. Let's roll on. Let's roll on to our next spot, Lightning Panthers.
Okay, Lightning Panthers. This is an interesting one. Of course, Florida won the first game. It was close, 3-2. I did all my stuff, last minute for our NHL pool. So I was like, I don't know, I'll just not include any Florida players. I think that might have been a big mistake. They're obviously great. They're obviously great defensively, and that is what tends to do well in the playoffs. Teams that are gritty and just hold teams down, and Florida's that. I think that Tampa Bay is not going to get swept, and depending on what happens here, they're probably going to be a good or great bet in one or a couple of their games at home coming up later. It's a big line here. I don't think Tampa Bay is going to get blown out. So I don't know, maybe Tampa Bay +2, +2.5, something crazy like that. Maybe you take a shot with the under, buying to 6, something like that. It does feel, the big question here is, how awesome is Florida really? How much can Tampa Bay bounce back here really? How motivated will they be here really? Kucherov assist during the regular season. I was just cashing with those game in and game out. Of course, he got an assist in the first game. So maybe you got to be very, very careful taking overs in offensive props in any playoff situation. But leaning Kucherov assist, maybe Braden Point to get an assist. Stamkos was good. The question is just how awesome and deep is Florida? They are pretty awesome and deep. So maybe the line is justified. Free bet, I'd put it on Tampa Bay, I guess. What would you do, Jim, if you had a free bet on the money line here?
Well, I don't need free bets. I already bet it. I have 300 on I have 300 on the Lightning money line. And also one of the great things about this series, about betting playoff series, is you set up your plan of attack.
Sure.
So here with the Lightning and also with the Predators, I am betting them in game 2, and I'm going to bet them again in game 3 if they lose. So I expect if they win, I may not. If they win, I've got to recalibrate. But if they lose, I'm betting them again in game 3, and I'm going to get my money back or more, depending on how I handle it. This total's gone from 5.5 to 6. I do find that surprising because there's no space on the ice. These are two phenomenal hockey teams. I got plus 159. I was pretty sure I was going to beat this market move. At one point, at 1 a.m, it's got down, it got down to plus 148. I bet this in the afternoon at plus 159, and I saw the 11-cent move in my direction. It's come back to plus 153. I've still beaten it by a little bit. And, these are two phenomenal hockey teams. And Bobrovsky is stepping up. I can't believe this contract's not going to, totally ruin the franchise. It's not. And Vasilevsky needs to step up, and I expect him to do that. I'm surprised this has gone from 5.5 to 6.
Me too.
Panties again play today is Tampa Bay money line. So Mikey Money and I are both on the Lightning money line. And again, I'm perfectly set up to bet them again in game 3 in case they lose here. Tampa Bay power play, the best in the league, 28.6%. I mean, I wouldn't say that they're better than the Oilers power play, but the statistics say that they are at this point. The penalty killing from both sides very strong. So there's a layer of an added layer that I didn't really fully grasp, and that's that the Panthers really feel like the Lightning are their big brother. They want to beat the Lightning so badly, and I didn't really realize that just because it was the Panthers that made the big run last year, not the Lightning. So this is the third time these teams have met, and the Lightning won 4-2 in 2021 when they went on their way to the Stanley Cup, and then they swept Florida 4-0 in 2022. So in that series in 2022, they outscored the Panthers 13-3, and I didn't fully grasp that the Panthers want to beat Lightning so badly. And when you hear Tkachuk in the post-game press conferences, you get a sense. I remember last year in the Stanley Cup Finals, they were talking about I think it was Chandler Stevenson's brother who had concussion issues and couldn't continue, older brother, and they were talking about how, and Chandler was saying, I'm playing for my brother out there, and that press conference going into game 5 was like a morgue. They were so serious, they were so business. Mark Stone was taught, it was so serious. When you hear Tkachuk in these post-game press conferences, this is his time. I only took one Panther in the playoff pool just because I thought the series was so difficult, and I took Reinhart, and I think that was a mistake. Now, one thing about Tkachuk and the way he plays is he could get hurt. He just, he plays on an edge. He plays violent and dangerous. So he could get hurt. And maybe that was something that kind of went through my thought process. Watching this series, this is beautiful hockey, and there's no room on the ice. Florida took the first 8 shots, and then the Lightning completely took over. So the Lightning didn't have a shot until 15 minutes and 55 seconds had gone. Then the Lightning took over. After 2 periods with these two spectacularly offensive teams, the shots were 14-10 because there's no space on the ice. I'm surprised this total has gone from 5.5 to 6. It doesn't really make sense to me. So Verhaeghe and Barkov, I mean, they just look so good. Tkachuk's a monster. Barkov had 2 assists. Tkachuk had a goal and assist. Bobrovsky only had to make 17 saves. I don't expect that to happen. I expect that the Lightning to throw everything at Bobrovsky. Florida's completely healthy. Tampa's missing Hayden Fleury, who's a depth defenseman, but he does bring size and truculence. When it's all said and done here, I'm on the Tampa Bay Lightning. I got them plus 159. It was plus 155 at the time at 365, and I got it at Pinnacle at plus 159. I think this is a great opportunity risk reward. And again, if I lose in this game, I'm going to hammer them as soon as the line is available in game 3, Pete. I would like to bet the under. I don't know if I can. And then my guy Razor Sharp Picks talking about the Derby, and I hate to change subjects because it's so important, but I can't wait. So Friday is on Razor's channel. Right after our show here, I'm gonna jump right over there, and we're gonna hammer the Oaks and hammer everything. And then Saturday, he's co-hosting with me here on PSR, and I'm just so that we talk about how thankful. I'm just so thankful I get to co-host with Razor. He's so incredible, so much fun, so sharp. This community we have is so strong and so much fun and so sharp. And Razor, I just can't wait. Can't wait, man. So Friday on Razor Sharp Picks channel on Saturday here. Take it away, Pete. I would like to move on the under. I would, but I don't know if I need to. Take it away. I want to hear your thoughts.
Well, so I already gave my thoughts. Now I've been listening. So I'm going to try to figure out what I'm going to do here. So if you think that Tampa Bay is, I mean, Florida, right? They gave up the fewest goals in the regular season. They're a legitimately awesome defensive team, right?
Florida is the best defensive team in the NHL.
Okay. So if Tampa Bay is going to come in here and really, if Tampa Bay is going to come here and really try to get a win, what's their game plan going to be? I think maximize shots
on any given night.
Themselves?
On any given night, on any rink in the world, Tampa Bay can beat any team. They're that good. Now they need some bounces to go their way. They need to get an early power play. The Panthers these are two exceptional hockey teams. I mean, we watched it with Dallas, Vegas. I mean, they're just exceptional hockey teams. I mean, you're going to give me plus 150 with the Lightning down 1-0. I will take it against any team in the National Hockey League. The Tampa Bay is not to be messed with, and the Panthers, with this anger towards Tampa, maybe the Panthers are the best team in the league, or maybe they're just so phenomenal that they can beat this Lightning team comfortably and easily in a series. I will bet against that. I'll put my money on the line and say that's not going to happen, and it's just that simple here.
All right. I'm going to take a shot with the first period under for sure. That's 1.5 minus 105. That's at Bet Online. I'm going to shop around. I'm also going to take no point for Brandon Montour from Florida. No point from Montour. And then I'm just trying to figure out, Kucherov, if Tampa Bay is going to play their max game, Kucherov to get an assist at anything better than minus 200 is probably a good bet, or no?
I just don't gamble that way.
Right.
But I get it. I get like how, if that was the way I mean, I'm just trying to raise my unit size and hammer spots I'm the most confident in. Maybe adding that dynamic into my capping would help. But yeah, I mean, I don't want to bet a player prop in any of these spots. It's war. I shouldn't say the war is a bad, but these are the most intense hockey games you're ever going to see in your entire life. Do I want to have action on one player to get a point? Yeah. If I did, Kucherov would be that one player, but.
Right. Yeah. I was thinking about an assist, and I was thinking about his under. All right, for now, I'm just going to do first period under 1.5 minus 105 Bet Online. Brandon Montour not to score a point for Florida. I'm going to shop around a little bit. That'll be about 150. I can probably get a little bit better. And for now, I'll just stick with that. And I might chuck on Tampa Bay plus 2.5 at a massive favorite line just to have a little fun and piss Jose Bouquett off at the end of the show as well.
I love your first period under. I tell you what, there's not going to be a lot of even strength goals unless a team goes down. There's just no room on the ice. If you watch it, there's no space anywhere. So the problem is, the penalties, the power plays are just so dangerous, even though both penalty kills are very tough. Steve G can laugh that I think that the Lightning can beat any team in the NHL on any given night. And that's part of the fun of what we do together. And I don't take any offense. He can laugh in my face all he wants. But I truly believe that. And the Lightning can beat the Panthers here in game 2. I truly believe that. And he can laugh.
They're going to probably I'm also thinking about Florida team total under 3.5.
Yeah, I just don't understand how this total's gone from 5.5 to 6. Sean Higgs saying, give me the under 5.5. There's no room. There's no space on the ice. Another thing is when these guys pull their goaltender, they're so good too. It's just, for me, I'm just going to be on the Lightning money line but the under makes a ton of sense to me here, a ton of sense. And maybe it's just, why would it go to 6 at Pinnacle? And I mean, should that concern me? I don't know. I'm going to think about. I mean,
you're right. With the explosiveness that these teams can have, it could be one of those games that's like 1-1 after 2 periods, and then final score goes to OT and it's 4-3 or something like that. You know what I mean?
There's just so much talent on the ice. Billy Friedrich saying it's a very physical series, so I think there will be plenty of power plays. That's the problem. Like the under makes sense in every conceivable way. Look, the shots were 14-10 after 2 periods, but we know what this Lightning power play can do. We know the snipers on the Panthers and what Reinhart did this year. I'm comfortable with just on the Lightning money line.
Okay, sounds good. So I'm just going to have two plays. I'm also leaning, Reinhardt to get a point again, and 2.5 shots on goal over, and maybe I'll add that at the end. But those are definitely leans. All right, but we can move on.
Let's roll on. Let's roll on to game 3 here. Let's roll.
Okay, here we go. Colorado, Winnipeg. Of course, the first game super high scoring. Winnipeg won it. Colorado. So much talent, but Georgiev is just a big hole in their game. He's just a big liability in playoff hockey, isn't he? And they scored 6 goals in the first game, but still didn't win. McKinnon was held down to 4 shots. I might take a McKinnon shot prop over when he's back at home, but I don't want to take it here. There's a couple of props that I'm kind of liking at the current line, though. Maybe you want to take. Maybe the first period will be low scoring, but then it'll open up and explode again later on. So I was leaning over at 6, even though the first game was very high scoring. And it just feels like, I don't know, man. I just feel like Georgiev is a liability here. So I don't know if I want to take Winnipeg, but that's definitely the way I'm leaning over and leaning some Winnipeg offensive props as well. Do you think we're going to see another super high scoring game here, Jim?
Well, first off, Steve G says there's no space because they're slow. Says Maroon has a turning radius of a diesel electric truck. Maroon plays for the Boston Bruins. So if you're setting up to make fun of the speed on the Tampa Bay Lightning, why don't you pull up the players on their roster? Might help your fucking argument. Here, Avalanche, Winnipeg, Canada Life Center, Winnipeg, Manitoba. My script is set. I got the Jets at plus 180 when they went down 1-0. This home ice advantage in Winnipeg, it's a madhouse.
Mm-hmm.
The whiteout, and shout out to Roger Nielsen, who created it in 1982. It's a madhouse. And one other thing, Coochie Destroy says, Jimmy, why didn't you like the Lightning team total over 2.5? If the Lightning play the completely responsible, no penalties, no, the tightest, which I've seen them be able to play before. What if they win 2-0? I just, it's not that I don't like it. I just don't need it. I'm getting a huge plus line. I just, I don't need it. So that's all. But here, I don't see how this. So I was shocked. I got the Jets at minus 109 and the line's moving towards the Avalanche. If I'm right here with the Jets winning game 2, I can't wait to bet the Avalanche in game 3. As soon as the line is available, first period and full game, I can't wait for that. But I can't comprehend how this is a pick'em in Winnipeg. I just don't understand it. And now this line's moving towards, Colorado. I just don't understand it. I'm watching the game. Now, when you watch the game, every single time the Avalanche have the puck, you're scared. They're dangerous. Every single time. They're that dangerous. The Avalanche have gone from minus 107 to minus 115. Georgiev is a problem, and Noonan is sick. But I think we're going to see him in this series. I think we're going to see him. I don't know how sick he is. I don't know the situation. Colorado power play 24.5%, penalty killing 79.9%. Winnipeg 18.8% power play, 77.1% penalty killing. Another thing about these games, when you have in the playoffs, when you have one very high scoring game, it certainly doesn't mean that game 2 is going to follow that same suit. But that's clearly how the gambling public are betting this. They've bet this from 6 to 6.5. This was at 6 until, I guess, for like 6 hours. Now it's at 6.5. So that's betting it. BT in the house. What up, BT? So this hockey game was, it was incredible. I don't know how could you watch it sitting down? It was just the most incredible hockey game, and it's the first time these two teams have ever met in the NHL playoffs. So it was a 7-6 classic won by the Jets. And Adam Lowry, we talked about Adam Lowry over and over again. We talked about Adam Lowry, the size, the issue, the thing we were worried about with Colorado was not their skill. There's no team in the NHL that has more skill than the Colorado Avalanche. It's just we're not sure if they're tough enough and big enough, and I still believe that. If you listen to Rick Bowness and listen to the Jets, this is their dream, to play in a sold-out arena in the dirty peg and beat the great Colorado Avalanche. So Bowness says everyone's talking about Adam Lowry as if he, when you have a captain of that size, with that confidence, with that defensive acumen, I mean, he's just a monster. He's going one-on-one with Nate McKinnon. Now, the best defensive player in the world can't really stop Nathan McKinnon. He's spectacular. But Rick Bowen is talking about Lowry. He's like, he loves these challenges. He's going up against one of the best players in the world, not in the league, in the world, in Nate McKinnon. And he loves these challenges. He takes his game to the next level. Scheifele had a goal and 2 assists. Scheifele scored his 20th playoff goal in 38 games. So only 3 players that are playing in the NHL right now have done it faster. I mean, that's how special Scheifele is. This Winnipeg Jets team is so special. Now, the Avalanche have so much skill. I don't know how anybody... It's very, very difficult to pick a winner in this series. The reason why Mel, who's a Colorado Avalanche fan in and out, the reason why she went on the Jets was just because of the home ice advantage, I believe. Now, and Steve G can mention that as well, about how important the home ice advantage. If the Avalanche had home ice, I mean, this would be completely shifted. So, maybe the market is just a better NHL capper than me, and that's completely legitimate. And that's why I haven't bet the under in the Panthers Lightning game. But how are the Jets at home not favored slightly against every team in the National Hockey League? They should be a slight favorite against any team in the National Hockey League. By the way, those 3 players that have scored 20 goals in playoff games faster than 38 games, Ovechkin did it in 26, Gensel in 32, and McDavid in 36. Morrissey, did you see the Nemesnikov score? Everybody's rolling. Brendan Dillon, Viardi, Niederreiter. There were 100 hits in this hockey game, of which, the Avalanche had the 54-46 edge. Hellebuck's a monster. Makar's the best defenseman we've seen since Bobby Orr. Nishushkin looks good. Casey Middlestad scored. That's important for the Avs. Samuel Girard's been out with a concussion for 10 games, and they're like, or sorry, I don't know if it's 10 games. He's been out since, April 13th. And he hadn't scored a point in his 10 games, but last 10 games he played, but he still looks like a very talented defenseman. I'm sure they would love to have out there. But when it's all said and done, look, I don't know. Coin says, I think this Colorado line is telling a story here. This is the sport, and I could be wrong. That's okay. You make a bet. You deal with the consequences of your actions. But I will go up against the market in this thing. It does not make sense to me that the Jets would be an underdog against any team in the National Hockey League, sold out at Canada Life Center. So I'm on the Jets. I got minus 109. If I had waited, I got a better line. Steve G says Girard is back. I wonder, now Girard's a young, talented, fast defenseman. I'm sure he can acclimate himself pretty quickly, but good God, there's so much speed and talent and size, and it's not an easy game just to step into. But yeah, I'm on the Jets.
Okay, so my question for you, Jim, is if Colorado's going to come in here and try to steal this game, is Georgiev likely to be better than he was in game 1? Is he like a quality guy who's like had a bad game and now he's going to be, I'm going to prove that I don't suck? And is Colorado going to be able to change up their game plan for this game in any way?
That's your, I don't know what Georgiev is going to do. I think both goaltenders are better than they looked in game 1. I don't have a ton of faith in Georgiev other than being an Ironman. What did he do this year? Now, being an Ironman is very important. Being able to play more than any goaltender in the league. I mean, that's important. But I think he is the big vulnerability. There's a huge advantage in between the pipes. And so I do not want to back Georgiev unless I'm backing the Avalanche at home. And I'd really love to do that with the Jets up 2-0 in the series.
I hear you. All right, I'm going to. I'll just throw on a couple of props here, hoping that Winnipeg at some point in the game can be productive offensively. I'll take Nikolai Ehlers point Yes, minus 103 at Bet Online. I'm going to take Miles Wood, shots on goal, over 1.5, minus 189. And my leans are Morrissey to get another assist at plus 100 Bet Online. And I will add that. I'll add on Morrissey assist plus 100 at Bet Online. And leaning Kyle Connor over 2.5 shots on goal again at minus 154. And why not? I'll take it. If it cashes out, I'll shop around and try to get better lines. But I'll put 4 player props up on this one. And I think you're probably right. My leans were to the over, and you're probably right that Winnipeg is a great bet. I don't understand why the line is so low, but I'll just stick with those 4 plays.
And Mikey Money is adamant that we're all wrong about the Jets. In fact, I was just going to watch game 1, but when he was saying he just doesn't agree with us all, I bet it because I was like, okay, well, I'll fucking bet it then. I was just going to watch it. And then I got in on the plus 180 live. So I made just under $500 on the game. It was great. Mikey really believes in the Avalanche. And like Steve G's saying, if this series had opened up in Colorado, I'm sure this is 1-0 Colorado going into game 2 where we're going to back Colorado again. But it's not. It's in the dirty peg. It's a big difference. Pete, let's roll. I mean, I know we could talk about these games for 2 or 3 hours, and I love it, but we got to keep rolling.
Yeah.
So let's move on.
No, that's okay. I'm shopping around, Jim, and at the end of the segment, I'll tell you what all my line shopping produce as far as better lines are concerned. All right, let's move on. You ready, Jim?
Let's do it.
Okay, last game is Nashville, Vancouver. Now, I kind of like Nashville in general coming into this playoffs. I didn't know how I was going to bet them or whatever, but I kind of like them. Vancouver, I thought might be a little bit overvalued. Not that they're bad, just maybe a little bit overvalued. Vancouver won game 1, and I heard you say at the top of the show that you like Vancouver here. I mean, sorry, you like Nashville here. Nashville. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Which I would agree with. If Vancouver does win this game, then I'm going to be looking super hard at Nashville in all their home games the rest of the series. It's still tough to take a team on the road in the playoffs. Vancouver has, Jay Miller and they got a whole bunch of guys that are good. So I don't know, maybe Nashville at a big dog line is worth a play. That's why I was leaning. My first note is gotta like Nashville here. And I was actually going to take them first period, either on the money line or plus a half to start. And I was thinking, why the hell not go for Nashville -1 or race to 2 or race to 3 or the team total over or something like that. But yeah, I was leaning Nashville as well. I'm just concerned kind of about taking a road team in the playoffs right now at a big line, but not a huge line against a team like Vancouver, who is a quality team.
I'm on Nashville. Again, this is the same Tampa Bay Lightning spot. If I lose this bet, I would actually, be pleased. But I would bet Nashville immediately in game 3.
Right.
I want the Canucks to succeed. I just know that the Canucks have a stink on them. They've had a stink on them since 1970. And they're going to have to break through this wall of stink. And I don't expect them to be able to do it. Who did we see break through that wall? Dakota Joshua. Toughness. Pia Suter. What a great pickup that was. Where's Toddler Shoulders Pedersen? He had 2 shots? I mean, it was a -1. Captain Quinn Hughes was great. He's everything that you could ever dream of in a captain in a power play quarterback. But I want, and the Canucks out hit. They out hit. The Canucks had 39 hits. Predators only had 32. Remember, that's 71 hits. There was 100 in Winnipeg, Colorado. I mean, that's just incredible hockey. I got plus 140 here. It's now plus 134. It's opened up at plus 141. I could have picked a better time to move on it here. From a total standpoint here, we have it sitting right now at, sorry, let me just move over here quickly. We have this sitting at 5.5 minus 114 to the over. It went up to 6 and came back down. So, that was the first home playoff game at Rogers Arena since 2015. Because the last time we were in the playoffs was in the bubble. And look, this city is starved for hockey glory. And I'm so used to this team losing. My whole life, I've lived with them losing and losing and losing in every important spot, losing, that I do not expect them to take care of business here. And there's a lot of people who think I'm absolutely nuts, that this is a phenomenal Vancouver Canucks team, division champion, that's going to take out Nashville. And Dakota Joshua is special. And, when they asked him about the goal, he's like, I'll never forget it. He's like, it makes you want to keep doing it. This guy's locked in. These are the types of players that you need, to win playoff series. O'Reilly and Zucker scored. Saros only had to make 17 saves. Both teams are very healthy. I think that Nashville has a lot of value at this price. I'm going to challenge the Canucks. And if I lose this, as soon as the line's available, I'm going to bet on the Predators here. In game 3. So I'm pretty comfortable with this spot. Both penalty killing are weak, and both power plays are not the way we thought they were going to be. I mean, we didn't think Nashville's power play would be phenomenal, even though they have Roman Josi back there. But the Canucks power play at 22.7, the league learned how to focus everything on Quinn Hughes and go 1-2-1. But, we'll see how it all bangs out. But I'm on the Predators tonight, and if they lose this game, as soon as the line's available, I'm going to be on them in game 3, which is the same thing I'm doing with the Lightning.
Okay, just very quickly, how is Vancouver defensively?
It's a good question. It's a good question. They're not as competent as you would like. Now they have new size with Zadorov there. Hronek and Hughes are such offensively gifted defensemen. They've improved their defensive play quite a lot. They have a goaltending advantage, even though Demko hasn't played very much, which does help their defense. And, they have a full 4 lines that they can throw, and they have, centers that can win faceoffs and play good hockey, and in the Pia Suitors. They have wingers who can take faceoffs as well. So when their main center gets kicked out, they have, almost like 2 centers on these lines, and they're an average defensive team.
So what would you say to Nashville team total over 2.5?
Yeah, I mean, I think that I don't want, in the playoffs, I want to win hockey games and win bets 2-1. But
right.
I don't think there's any. I think what line would you get on the over 2.5?
Like -110.
What I don't think is going to happen, and maybe when I say I don't think, obviously there's chance of, but I don't think you're going to cash that in a 5-3 loss.
Right.
But I can be wrong, but I always think, how do I cash it? How do I lose it? I don't think you're going to cash it with a comfortable Canucks victory because there's high scoring in it. The Predators are not a real high scoring hockey team. I mean, that first line, it's Philip Forsberg going off that's created this, Nyquist, who's always been so defensively responsible and so smart, into a first line player again, like he was, 8 years ago with the Red Wings. And then O'Reilly playing the way he is. I never have thought of the Nashville Predators being a high scoring offensive team. Rich H says 2-2 going into overtime. Steve G leaning towards Nashville. Robert Franklin on the over a half point. Slatsy says total's gone over in 8 of last 9 games between Preds Nucks in Vancouver. So, Jared TG says, certainly was a long time ago. My parents weren't alive in 1970. That's a lot of struggling for Vancouver. Well, we started losing right off the very first second of the franchise. We lose the draft, the Buffalo Sabres, and we thought we'd won the draft, but it was a misread. And the Buffalo Sabres get Gilbert Perreault, Hall of Famer. And who did the Canucks get? Dale Talon. It was immediate. That's a different story that I could fucking ramble on.
All right. We'll have a little fun here. I'm going to give 4 plays on this one. You ready, Jim?
Yes.
I'm not killing NHL, but I'm up in both props and in non-props. I'm up, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Nashville, first period plus a half goal, -191, Pinnacle. Elias Pettersson, no point, +112, bet on 9. Preds, race to 2, +123, Caesars, and Evangelista. This is a young kid who was like so motivated every game to give it his all. Over 2.5 shots on goal, +127, bet online. Four plays for this one. I mean, obviously, I also lean Forsberg goal, Forsberg point, and Roman Josi in some way, but I'm just going to stick with those 4.
This is just heaven. Having these games on at night and having the Sky Dragon joining us. DG, we went off the top about what's going on with Operation Garcia, and how you brought us to the dance. We're thankful to be at the dance. I'm just, as soon as the kids go down and I go downstairs with all the action, I mean, like, it's heaven. Like, it's the great. I mean, you don't need to go to Vegas anymore to find heaven. And these hockey games are like, and then we have the basketball playoffs going on. We have the player props going on. We're gonna have a baseball card. Jose's about to join us. It's fucking heaven. This is like, these games are so exciting and so much fun. To start off with, I mean, the Rangers Capitals doesn't excite me nearly like Tampa, Florida is just must-watch hockey. I mean, you just have to watch every second of it. And then we get Colorado, Winnipeg, and Nashville, Vancouver to close the night off. Good God, it's glorious. Razor Sharp picks, gamblers. First glance is in. Dallas Clippers under 216.5. Pete, let's review NHL. And I would like to not have any additions here. Sorry, let me make sure I've got this set up right at Dallas. I would like to not have any additions, and that's what I have. I have no additions right now, and that makes me happy. I made the 3 bets last night. I think I actually got plus 141 on Nashville. I got minus 109 on the Jets, and I got plus 159 on the Lightning. And the plan is, again, you set up your plan, set up your script for how you want to bet these things. If the Lightning lose game 2, I'm going to hammer them in game 3. If they win game 2, I'm maybe look the other way. And then Nashville, same deal. I don't think I would look the other way. I think I'd probably back them again in game 3. But if they lose game 2, I'm going to hammer them in game 3, expecting to get that money back. So those are my 3 spots. Pistol Pete, you want to review your action, my friend?
Okay, for all the NHL games, right?
Yes.
Okay, so everything is Pinnacle except for the books, and I'll list them. Rangers, -1, minus 188. Lafreniere, point, minus 117. Bet online. Tampa Bay, Florida, first period, under 1.5, minus 105. Bet online. Brandon Montour, no point, minus 145. Bet online. Miles Wood, over 1.5 shots, minus 181. Heritage. Josh Morrissey, assist, plus 100. Bet online. Kyle Connor, over 2.5 shots on goal, minus 151. Heritage. Ehlers, point, yes, minus 103. Bet online. Nashville, first period, plus a half goal, minus 191. Elias Pettersson, no point, plus 112. Bet online. Preds, race to 2, plus 123. That's Caesars. And Evangelista, over 2.5 shots, plus 127. Bet online.
And Pistol Pete here is in NHL overall, 91 and 79. This is since we got back together. Plus 11.5 units. ROI 5.1%, average line minus 108. On player props, he's 71 and 63. He's plus 7.4 units, average line minus 109. ROI plus 4.1%. So
yeah, actually, the addition that I gave you was actually wrong. It's 71 and 64. So on the props, okay. But that's okay. Sorry about that.
No, but it's very, very important. It's very important to because when somebody's doing something that's a little bit maybe out of a comfort zone, it's the reason why a lot of us have made so much money off of Dennis Garcia's angle is because, we listened, we tracked it, and then we followed suit. And that's what we're listening to Pete with his player props. We're tracking it, and then we're going to decide whether we want to follow suit. And that's what this show's all about. And that's what Pete taught us from the very beginning, that we track every single pick that comes out here. We sell you nothing ever. And if we lose, we deal with that goddamn embarrassment, and our bankrolls get hurt, and I almost disappear, as what happened at the end of February. Or we succeed and move forward, and that's what we're doing right now. So, and also, I apologize for that hour-long 4-gamer, but good God, that's fun, and it's so much fun capping NHL with you guys. I'm ready to move past it, but I fucking love it. So
I'm ready to skip NBA completely if you want to, Jim.
Absolutely not. Did I need to repeat $5,860?
Right.
Days, Pete. In 6 days.
No, I mean in my personal handicapping.
Jesus Christ. I mean, this is just too much. I mean, it's just good God. Good God. Okay, let's move on to MLB. I have not performed well. Again, we talk about tracking all the action and dealing with the consequences, both in your bankroll and if people don't want to listen to what you have to say because you're not succeeding, and that's all valid, legitimate. But my co-host here on Tuesdays and my co-host in MLB throughout the week, they are both doing very, very well, leading by example and getting paid in full in MLB. Please welcome the star of Say Hey Plays of the Day, which you can see 7 days a week here on Pub Sports Radio. And when we have Loshak in the bag, you see it right here. Please welcome from San Antonio, Texas, home of the Southtown 101 and Pub Sports Radio, Mr. Jose Bouquett. Jose, how are you, my friend?
Nice to it's good. I'm good. It's nice to see both of you. Pete, love the glasses. I love the fur.
Yeah.
Jimmy, I've got some bets to pitch you on today.
Yes, I would have, if I had had a little bit more time, I would already be on something in regards with Griffin Canning. I've watched all of Griffin Canning starts. And I think we have a huge advantage right now because it says 8.05 ERA, 1.58 WHIP. He's having a problem in the first inning. I think he's going to be bet on. Do you want to go up against Grayson Rodriguez, Baltimore Orioles? I need to figure that out. I want to be back on Logan Webb at home. Maybe I'm a little late to the party there. But I tell you, I almost made 4 bets in Gausman Waka, and I made 3 bets. So those are the only. So I've got the first 3 under 2.5, the first 5 under 4.5. And Gausman first 5. I would have also had Gausman first 3, but walk at home, and it was minus 130. It was a little bit too much juice. But I'm ready to be sold on bets. I'm ready for us to get that cash. And there you have it, as you see on the screen. Jose now up 6.13 units here. And Peter Loshak now up 8 units after just 23 bets. Pete, seeing the board very clearly. So let's get to work. Jose, can you touch on what happened for you yesterday here while I set up everything here for you?
Yeah, I had a great day yesterday. If I didn't go on last call with Mikey Money, I would have swept the board. I'll say that, which is very funny. I talked to Mike and I gave him some plays I was looking at. And I just needed help figuring out if I wanted to bet him first 5. How do I bet him? I was on the Diamondbacks yesterday. That one should have been a first 5. They win the first 5 3-0. They lose the game on a walk-off, which was crestfalling. The Rockies game, everyone probably remembers this one of all of them. I bet first 5 plus a half, talked it out with Mikey, canceled it, took the first 5 money line, and it ended up 1-1. So that was tragic, but we went 3-1 with that push. The Blue Jays money line was easy. I thought about going first 5 full game. I mean, Jimmy, why would you not play for a guy that hands out a $3,000 bottle of whiskey around the locker room when he wins? I mean, come on. Yusei Kikuchi, shout out to him. I took the first 5 under in the Phillies game. I almost took the Phillies outright as well. They did end up winning, but I just took the first 5 under. That cashed. It was great. And shout out to the Troy Torrance, cash cow. It was the Blue Jays, and that was my addition. And his cash cow was Minnesota plus 185. We cashed it. Good times. So good times all around.
Yes, and I expect more here. Let me just write this down quickly. Okay, let's get to work. Thank you guys all for joining us. A big MLB card. We got everybody here together. So let's roll. We start at 6:10 p.m. We have Jose's Boston Red Sox, 13-10, 10-3 on the road at the Cleveland Guardians. Now 16-6, 6-3 at home. We're at Progressive Field in Cleveland, Ohio. Let's get into the weather there. I just refreshed everything, so we should be set. The game looks like it'll be pushed back, and we don't know if it'll go. We don't know if it'll go at this point. It's 69% chance of rain. Maybe do they start it because it's not heavy rain at all. Like we're talking drizzle and light rain. I think this game goes, and I think that we should do our due diligence to prepare for it. 10.8 miles per hour left to right, slightly in from 10.8 to 7.4. Let's get into the setup here. We have Tanner Houck going up against Ben Lively. We saw Ben Lively's first start of the year, and it was very good. It was at Boston, so he just faced these Boston Red Sox. But he went 5 innings, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 homer, and 7 Ks. Tanner Houck just completely shut down these Cleveland Guardians in that game. He went 9 full with 9 strikeouts and no walks. He's been spectacular this year. 28 Ks and 26 2/3, just 2 walks. He's allowed just 1 jack, 1.35 ERA, 0.90 whip. Neither team's hitting righties at all. Red Sox this year, 228, 699 OPS. Guardians, 241, 701 OPS. This Guardians bullpen looks very good so far. 2.11 ERA. They've converted 7 of 10 save opportunities. Boston's been pretty good too, although they've only converted 8 of 14, 3.66 ERA. Let's get into the line history and the cash flow and then hand it over. We'll start with Jose as the Red Sox are in play here. There's a lot of 8.5s on the board, not here at Pinnacle. Now, this opened at 8. It took about an hour and 28 minutes to get to 8.5. And then it went back to 8. It got back to 8 at 10:54 in the morning. So now we've gone full circle and we have no movement. When there was a ton of movement, now we have no movement. From a total standpoint, Jesus, why is it not? Sorry, I thought I had it all set up here. God, my apologies. I was sure I did, but I'll fix this here. From a money line standpoint here, we have the Red Sox right now minus 109 at Pinnacle. They opened up at minus 106. There's been very little movement here. It's been within that 5 cents radius the whole time. And then cash flow. You have 47% of the tickets and 65% of cash on the Boston Red Sox. You have 62% of tickets and 59% cash on the over. It went up to 8.5 and it came back. Jose Bouquett, game 1 on the board. Red Sox Guardians, take it away.
Yeah, this was the first spot this year where I kind of wanted to go against the market here, Jimmy, and it really hasn't moved much, like you've mentioned, but I think the Tanner Houck does not have a good start here again. Like we talked about this earlier in the season when he went up against the Angels. He had that first really good start in the season, and I told you like his whole thing is like you can't see lineups 3 times in a row or 3 times the same day. And he pitched his best game of his career last time out against the Guardians. Why would I want to back him here again against the Guardians when, again, he just doesn't like seeing lineups again, or it's not good enough to see those lineups again. Now, again, he threw complete game, so it was his best game of his career. And in that second start, again, in that back-to-back against the Angels, Houck struggled. So I do want to take the Guardians here, but I just didn't know how to do it, and I just don't think I am with no real market movement. I looked at a team total over 3.5, but it was minus 135 for me. So I'm definitely looking Guardians, if I'm honest. I just don't trust Ben Lively, who's also seeing the Red Sox again, and I expect Devers and O'Neill to be in the lineup today as well.
TJ's on the under. DC Capper is on the under. And Topset is with you, expecting regression. We only see 1 start from Ben Lively against this squad. And then, as you said, Tanner Houck coming off the best start of his life. What do we do in the player prop market generally is if a player has the best in any sport game of their life, we fade them in the next game. Now, I don't know if that applies to NHL. Take it away for us here, Pete, Red Sox Guardians.
Yeah, I'm definitely leaning Guardians. Probably not going to give it as an official play, though. As you said, Houck has definitely been dealing. Not a good spot for him. Lively, excellent, but, not that good going forward, very likely. Definitely leaning Cleveland. Probably should pull the trigger on it, but I'm going to hold off for now.
Yeah, I feel like there's volatility in this game.
Yes.
And that initial move to 8.5, it does concern me. TJ, did you get the 8.5? Not the 8. Troy Torrance says he'd be on the over if it wasn't for weather. All right, Red Sox Guardians. No action from us as a group. We move on. 6:40 p.m. Eastern with the Milwaukee Brewers 14-7, 10-3 on the road at the Pittsburgh Pirates 12-11, 4-5 at home. We're in beautiful PNC Park in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Let's take a look at the weather here. 67 Fahrenheit, 13.5 miles per hour, right out to the left field pole. It's right to left, but it dies down to 8.2 by the end of the game. And yes, DJ did get that 8.5 and says, but the market followed our play. Yeah, no, you could have confidence in that situation. No doubt about it. Okay, so let's take a look at our situation. And first, to do that, we need to know who is Tobias Myers, making his Major League Baseball debut here. Sort of a journeyman. He was a 6th-round pick in the 2016 draft out of Winter Haven High School. And this year in AAA, he's been very good. He's pitched in 4 games, started 3 of them. So he's gone 16 and 2/3, but he's 22 strikeouts in those 16 and 3 and just 7 walks. 1.08 whip and a 1.62 ERA. Last year he was in AA and he wasn't very good, and he was, at 24, probably should be delivering at AAA. Do we have him confirmed before I keep breaking him down?
Do you think I didn't have a lineup. I haven't seen anyone. Okay, so I had no idea.
Let me just. Okay, but this is the expectation, is that Tobias Myers makes his MLB debut. So let's just do the due diligence there at this point. In AA, 10 and 5, 5.03 ERA, 1.26 whip. Went up to AAA just out of the bullpen for a couple starts. But in 2022, he was in AAA and he got, annihilated like horrifically. He was 1 and 15 in 2022. Just absolutely destroyed. So he is an improving pitcher who is a journeyman and wasn't highly thought of, who's earned this opportunity. Going up against Blake Falter, the lefty, coming off that 9-1 loss at the Mets. It wasn't his fault. He's pitched good this year. Now, he doesn't get strikeouts when you need them, but I think he's a decent pitcher. 5 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 homer, 4 Ks, 1 walk, 9-1 loss. And the Brewers have been mighty offensively, not against lefties. 211, 629 OPS. The Brewers can't hit lefties. And the Pirates can't hit righties with any power at all. 663 OPS thus far this year. 241 average. The Brewers bullpen has been quite good. Very good. 3 ERA. It converted 8 of 12 save opportunities. And the Pirates bullpen is a 3.86 ERA, converted 8-11 opportunities. So both bullpens have been pretty good. Let's get into the line history here, and then Pete will get us started. Again, as we're waiting for information about the pitcher, I think that this move from 8 to 8.5 says that this kid's having his Major League debut today. How long he'll be in, I mean, we'd get more information here. We'd like to hear from you guys in the chat if this is what you guys expect as well. Is this kid to have his debut? And then from a money line standpoint here, you have Pittsburgh minus 102. They opened up minus 108, so we've had to move to the Milwaukee Brewers and move to the over. I don't think it makes sense to look at cash flow or put too much emphasis into it just because of the lack of tickets. But they have 3,705 tickets in. 50% of the tickets, 77% of the cash is on the Brewers. It's moved in their direction. That makes sense. And it's 50-50 here on the total. So a bit of a surprise that it's gone from 8 to 8.5. There's our guy Cashflow Rican in the house. Alcha Byron says, I'm a Pirates fan myself. If I'm not in the game, I'm usually on a loud pack of yellow chili squirts Reaper blend. So he likes to get lifted. Take it away, Pete. Any interest in Brewers Pirates?
Not really. I'm not a huge fan of Falter. Doesn't really get strikeouts, but gives up fly balls. Still, his last 3, appearances were much better because of the uncertainty about who is going to start for Milwaukee and the lines and everything. I didn't look into this one too deeply. Wouldn't be opposed to a Milwaukee team total over though. Wouldn't be opposed to that.
Jose Bouquett, do you have interest in raising it?
No, I will shout out Bailey Falter though, because his last 3 starts have been really good. 5 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs. 5 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run. 6 innings, 1 hits, no earned runs. So I'd probably stay off this game too. I lean Brewers though, just because I think the Pirates are falling off, like Top Set saying in the chat. So no action for me.
Now, if Tobias Myers is making his Major League debut, you don't have no interest in fading this journeyman, Jose, or do you think that he's a little older and earned this opportunity?
I just don't know anything about him, honestly. The first time I've heard about him was you telling me that it was Tobias Myers, because I had no idea who this pitcher was. I mean, he's only 25. He's only 25, and like you mentioned, he's been to a shitload of places, but he's still only 25. So I think he'd be more of a fade to me. So maybe an over, but like I said, I just didn't get into the game.
We roll on. 6:40 p.m. Eastern. Jose will be starting this one off. Philadelphia Phillies 15-8, 5-2 on the road. Cincinnati Reds 12-10, 7-6 at home. We're at Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati, Ohio. Let's get into the weather here. 71 Fahrenheit, 16.5 miles per hour, right to left, very slightly out. By the end of the game, it's straight out to left center. And now it ducks down. It goes from 16.5 down to 9.8, but that's still a legitimate wind. It's moving, towards center field as the game goes on. We have Christopher Sanchez and Andrew Abbott, two lefties that have looked very good thus far. Let's get into the line history. We'll start with the total. From a total standpoint, we're sitting at a 9. This opened up at 8.5, and Pinnacle moved it to 9 40 minutes ago. A very interesting move there with these nice pitchers on the bump. Now, no one's ever been very high on Christopher Sanchez. They sort of thought of him as a bit of a journeyman himself, but he's pitching very well this year. The Reds are sitting at plus 113. They opened up at plus 109, so with a very slight move towards the Philadelphia Phillies. When we get into the cash flow for this one, we have 86% of the tickets on the Phillies, but just 58% of the cash. And Andrew Abbott, to me, is the better pitcher on the mound. I can understand this, but 88% of the tickets and 88% cash on the over says that there's a lot of volatility. Maybe it also says that people believe in this weather as it, as offensive, because it's 71 Fahrenheit first pitch. It's getting a little warmer here. TJ on his card, Philadelphia first 5 minus 125, and Robert Franklin on the Philadelphia Phillies money line. Troy Torrance's home dogs between minus 104 and plus 120 are just 5-30 straight up. When the road team is getting 60% of the bets, says take Philly. Hunter Engelhardt says Philly's offense is hot. Second time facing Abbott in a short period of time. I believe it was that first game of the year that they faced, but I don't know if that's right. Jose can verify that because he's going first. Sanchez 1-2, 2.53 ERA, 1.31 WHIP, 21 1/3, 25 Ks, 8 walks. Has not allowed a jack. Has looked very good. That last start was at home over Colorado, 10 Ks, 1 walks. And then confirm this also with me, Jose. I believe Sanchez has had back-to-back home starts where he's looked very good. Now he heads out onto the road. Andrew Abbott 1-2, 2.70 ERA, 1.07 WHIP. He has allowed 3 jacks, but he's been very good this year. Last start, 6 innings for its 2 earned runs. They were solo shot, 6 Ks and 3 walks, and a 5-1 loss at the Mariners. The Phillies versus lefties against Reds versus lefties, that's your advantage. The Phillies versus lefties are smashing, 278, 765 OPS, while the Reds versus lefties are really struggling, 242 with a 633 OPS. And then when we get to the bullpens here, the Reds bullpen, 3.92 ERA. They've only had 6 save opportunities all year. They're 4 for 6. And for the Philadelphia Phillies, now have the worst bullpen in Major League Baseball. 5.61 ERA, 1.52 WHIP. Opponents hitting 266 against them. Take it away for us here, Jose Bouquett, Phillies Reds.
Yeah, I kind of agree with what Troy's saying in the chat, and he's saying it in a much more eloquent way than I am. Home dogs between minus 104 and plus 120 are just 5-13 straight up when the other team's getting 60% of the bets. He's saying take Philadelphia there. TJ also likes Philadelphia first 5. EQ likes Philadelphia money line. JPZ on Philadelphia here as well. And I kind of agree. You're right. First of all, back-to-back home starts for Christopher Sanchez looked great. Abbott back-to-back road starts. And 5-30. Sorry, I'm dyslexic apparently, Troy. But I just like the Phillies here. I didn't have them on my card to start this off, but I'm now looking at Phillies first 5 here. You mentioned it. There is 86% of the bets, only 58% of the money, which is a little concerning, but at least the line has moved in that direction here. And yeah, this is a rematch of the first start of the year for both of these guys. 6-3 loss in 10 innings. For the Phillies there. I think, the Phillies lineup will just be too good. They have tape on the guy against them now. So I think I'll be moving on first 5 Philly here.
And DC Capper on the under 9. Again, DC with no concern that this total with 2 pitchers with nice statistics is moved from 8.5 to 9. Hunter Engelhardt says Abbott extreme fly ball pitcher. Not a great strategy with weather and hot offense. Sanchez big ground ball guy. Doesn't give up bombs and has lefty numbers against Cincinnati's struggles. Gagnon saying Reds team total looks good. Sanchez has a few 0-run games last year, I think 3, but he only pitched 5 innings in each of those, 1 and 3 1 to 3 runs when he pitches 6 to 7 innings. Trey Turner over a half single for Robert Franklin, and a lot of the cappers in the chat deciding whether or not to take it first 5 or full game. What is Pete Loshak doing in this one? Phillies, Reds. And again, for those of you joining us late, Peter 16-7 to start the year here on Loshak in the Bag through 23 MLB bets. Take it away.
Yeah, some of that was from strikeout props that I haven't had a chance to price out, sufficiently today. I was leaning over, and I was leaning Cincinnati here. Hearing what Troy Torrance has to say and others, I think I'm going to hold off. But yeah, I do think that one of these guys will probably get touched a little bit iffy. But I'll take the first half over, and I'll take the Pinnacle line. You know what I like to do. I'm going to buy down to 4. -138. First 5 over 4 -138. I'll make that an official bet. Obviously, both these pitchers can be excellent, and so that could lose. But I'll make that an official bet. Also leaning over, and also leaning Cincinnati team total over as well at just 3.5. Not sure I want to pull the trigger on that though, but that's what I'm thinking here. I was leaning Cincinnati, but with what everyone's saying, Troy Torrance in particular, shout out to Troy Torrance. So much fun hanging out with him. I guess I'm going to hold off on Cincinnati. I think it's a not good spot for Sanchez.
I was looking at Cincinnati first 5 and had not bet it and will not here. I will heed the advice of you guys and just stay off. Pete on the first 5 over 4 at -138.
I got first 5 -130 for the Phillies.
And Jose moved on the Phillies. First 5 -1. What was that? Minus what?
130. I was gonna make fun of Pete for taking that juice total, but I'm taking a -130, so I can't talk shit.
You are
Jose Bouquett. You want to keep getting lippy with me? I'll fucking take both teams to score at -1429. Current line Heritage.
You won't do it, pussy. You won't.
Me. No, I won't. You're right. I won't. Although I do think it's probably. You're testing me, pal. Both teams to score -1429. Current line Heritage. I'm not going to make it official though. It is tempting. Very tempting.
We move on. 6:45 p.m. Eastern. Los Angeles Dodgers 13-11-4-3 on the road at the Washington Nationals 10-11-4-5 at home. We're at Nationals Park in Washington, D.C. We'll start here with the weather in Washington. 71 Fahrenheit, 11.9 miles per hour out to left center. Drops down to 8.5 by the end of the game. James Paxton versus Patrick Corbin. A couple of lefties, questionable lefties, although Paxton has looked quite good, and we know that Jose Bouquett knows all about Big Maple and whether or not he wants him on the Boston Red Sox roster. Now a Dodger. The Dodgers are sitting at -198. They open up at -198. Sense of movement towards the Los Angeles Dodgers. When we get to the total in this one, we have it at 9.5, -111 to the over. This opened up at 9.5, moved up to 10, was at 10 for a while. Now it's back at 9.5. So now we have no movement on this total. When we get to the cash flow, then for this one, Nats Dodgers, you have 66% of the tickets, 69% of cash on the over, and it's come back to 9.5 now with no movement. You have 89% of the tickets and 92% of cash on the Dodgers, and it's, line's sort of moving away from them right here. Coin saying getting out of LA might be the best thing for this team after a 3-6 homestand. Just 2 games over 500 are these Dodgers right now. Big Maple 2.0, 2.81 ERA, but 1.50 WHIP, 14 walks and 16 innings in his last start. 6-3 loss at home versus Padres. He had 8 walks in 5 innings. And only allowed 3 earned runs.
I couldn't believe that 8 walks number. That was fucking hilarious. And it's not like he had 7 strikeouts to make up for it. He had 1, I believe. So it was quite funny.
Right. Patrick Corbin on the other side, 8.06 ERA, 1.97 WHIP. Billy Frieder says Corbin is so bad. Just bet Dodgers first 5 team total over whatever it is and get out of this one. So Corbin in his last start, 6-2 loss at these Dodgers. So at 6 1/3, allowed 5 earned runs, 5 Ks, and 4 walks. Dodgers are hitting lefties 267, but not with much power for a 267 average of 736 OPS. Nats are doing nothing against lefties right now. 210 with a 583 OPS. Dodgers bullpen is not been very good. 4.35 ERA, but 1.15 WHIP. Opponents are hitting 221, better than their numbers indicate. Converted 8 of 11 save opportunities. And these Nats have surprised with their bullpen. 3.25 ERA, but 1.49 WHIP and 262 opponents batting average. So they've had some luck. Balls have been hit in the right places for their defense. Pete, we start with you. Dodgers, Nationals, take it away.
Yeah, sorry. I was looking at I was actually leaning run in the first inning in that Philly game, but I'll hold off on that one for now. Yeah, this is tough. Love fading Corbin was I'm so excited every time I see Pat Corbin slotted in for a Tuesday start, because then I'll likely get at least some free value, if not free money. But at this line, going up against Paxton, having serious issues, there's no way I can take the Dodgers first 5 or first 3 or anything close to that. Maybe some kind of like over in some way, but I looked at this, priced it out, and as of right now, nothing that I can pull the trigger on as of right now. Maybe first 3 over, running first, yes, first 5 over, something like that, but might have to just pass on the whole thing.
Gerald Jones looking at over. JT Eel says Corbin has a sneaky good outing once in a while. Yes.
Yes.
It's the vividness of that has cost me a lot of money. Jose, take it away. Dodgers, Nats.
Yeah, I think I'm staying off this game too, but honestly, I'd lay Nationals here. I see everyone betting the Dodgers here, but I just rather be on the Nationals here and Patrick Corbin in a revenge start after him getting touched up. I tend to believe that these back-to-back starts zigzag, so I think he'll have a better than last time start than he had last. So I just think Paxton also can be vulnerable. I know the Nats aren't hitting lefties though, so that's the issue. 8 walks is crazy, but yeah, no action for me here. I expect Paxton to definitely try to fill up the zone. Since he had those 8 walks, and if I was the Nationals hitting coach, I'd be like, hey, this guy gave up 8 walks last time. He's going to be trying to pound the zone today. So if he's in the zone, hit the ball. So I just can't trust the Nationals to do that. So I stayed off here. I was semi-interested in Patrick Corbin, though. So, and I will say this, obviously, this works in most situations. I think this is a little different. Patrick Corbin is on the last year of his giant contract. Now, I would say, yeah, he's a free agent going to be next year, needs to pitch to get a job next year, but he's made quite good money for how good he is. So I don't know if that carries over here, but yeah, no action from here.
Yeah, I'm don't find this appealing. JPZ might move with Mookie over 1.5 bases. This has got to see the numbers. Mally Mal says Dodgers just scored 10 runs. Wouldn't even consider Washington. Mally Mal says Ohtani went yard last time. Take Ohtani. And TJ pointing and laughing at the Dodgers, who won 3 of their last 10 baseball games. Wine Time says, can you imagine betting the Dodgers every game this year? There's a lot of them out there. Yeah, they've been taking it right in the bottom mouth. Let's move on. 6:50 p.m. Eastern. Detroit Tigers 13-10, 9-3 on the road at Tampa Bay Rays 12-12, 7-8 at home at Trop in St. Petersburg, Florida. I am building a list of pitchers following Jose Bouquet's lead, and Pepio is on that list. I think he is. I think his stuff is electric. And he showed it. That 2-1 win at home versus the Angels last out. Kenta Maeda looks bad. He's allowed 7 jacks and 17 2/3. Set up pretty nice, but I'd already be on the Royals first 5 -1/2 if I thought this was a slam dunk type of situation. The market's not moving towards them. The total's not moving. And who wants to back Kenta Maeda right now? Tigers versus righties are 220, 649 OPS. Pepio should roll here. The Rays aren't hitting either, 242, 672. What the hell is Kenta Maeda going to do? I think that's the biggest question mark, and Jose will be starting off this one. So let's get into the line history here. As I said, no movement at all. This opened up around, right around -158. Right now it's at -157. The same as on the total. Very, very little movement here at Pinnacle. When we get into the cash flow for this one, we have 94% of the tickets and 94% of the cash on the over. That makes me want to bet the under, but then I would have to trust Kenta Maeda, and maybe that's an okay thing to do here. 78% of tickets and 68% of cash is on the Rays, and the line's not moving towards them. Justin McKelvey looking at Rays first 5. Robert Franklin wanting the ladder with Pepio. Coin leaning towards that under 8. And Hunter Englehart's on that first half under in this one. Mikey Money says Tigers as a dog game after a favorite are 0-17. I mean, you don't really need to talk me into Pepio. I just want to back them. Another thing that's important is, remember, the Rays had the worst bullpen in the league. Well, of course, that was not going to last, and that's changed. Now they still have 5.27 ERA and opponents hitting 249 against them with a 1.50 whip, but I expect the Rays to improve bullpen-wise, and we know the Tigers still have the best bullpen in the league. Now, they've only converted 7 of 11 save opportunities, so it's something left to be desired, but a 1.70 ERA, 1.02 whip, and opponents are hitting 175 against that bullpen. Take it away for us here, Jose Bouquett, Tigers, Rays.
Yeah, shout out to KBO Kenta. He was on the other side of the Jack Leiter start. And I wish Jack Leiter was still up. I would have loved to fade him again, but he got options, so that sucked. But KBO Kenta has been very interesting. I said last year is closer to the KBO than he was MLB. Some starts he'll show it like he did last time, and other starts he'll bounce back and pitch well. Now I was interested to see what does good old KBO Kenta do after his blow-up starts. And I looked at the last 2 years, and he typically bounces back pretty well, and it's for some reason 3 earned runs. Like first start of the season against the White Sox of all people, 6 earned runs, bounce back against Oakland, 5 2/3, 3 earned runs there. Last year, he gave up 10 earned runs to New York, bounced back with a shutout against Detroit at Detroit. So there's something to take hold of. Against Cleveland last year, 6 earned runs in 4 innings, bounced back for 5 and 3. So I think KBO Kenta has a pretty good start here. I was actually starting to ride out the under in this game, Jimmy, because I think I'll hop on with you on your thought train on the under here. The Tigers' offense is so bad. You know, it's just not there yet. The hitters aren't there. So I think it's very vulnerable here. And I think and I hope that Kenta Maeda can keep his shit together. The bullpen for the Tigers is pretty rested here. And I'll trust your intuition with Ryan Pepio here. By the way, Faedo didn't pitch yesterday. Alex Lang didn't pitch yesterday. Chafin, who is the guy I really care about, didn't pitch yesterday either. So I expect all these guys to go. And it's definitely a fucking sweat whenever Faedo comes into the game, but he can figure his way out. So I think I'll roll with the full game under here.
TJ says my only concern with Tampa Bay, Pepio throws 54% fastballs. Detroit's 4th in baseball in runs above expected versus fastballs. Out Byron gonna smoke the chocolate stink wrinkle midnight blend for this game, Pete. What's your plan here? We have Tigers Rays.
Yeah, I don't love the spot for Pepio. Half agree with Jose Bouquett. It'll probably be a better bet for Maeda, but still a pretty crappy one. It could lose, but I'll chuck this one on. I'll chuck under 4.5 strikeouts minus 157. Bet online. Kenta Maeda under 4.5 strikeouts minus 157. Bet online. He's not that good, and on the road at Tampa Bay is not necessarily the best. I know Tampa Bay's not that good this year, but not the best situation for a bounce back. From someone like Maeda, who I think until further notice is I won't say cooked, but definitely for me until further notice it's fade or nothing, and especially on the road against a team that should have some decent analytic, take advantage of it. So I'll just stick with the Maeda under strikeouts prop. It does seem no-brainers to take Tampa Bay here, but yeah, I don't like the spot with Pepio, but can't take the over full game, so I'll just stick with that. But definitely leaning Tampa Bay anyway. Probably wrong. That's why I'm not betting it. And slight lean to the over at 8.
Damn it. Is that going... So when you hear, Jose, these great stat from... It was TJ, right? TJ with the Pepio throwing 54% fastballs. When you hear that stat, you hear Peter leaning towards the over. How does that affect your plan on betting this game?
Bet it under 8 minus 115.
What about Rays first 5 minus a half? You don't want to be involved?
No, I don't. If I think this is going to be a lower scoring game, then the first 5 minus a half will be dicey, But yeah, I believe in the pitchers here, and I think KBO can. So like if he gives up 3, I think the Tigers bullpen can keep it reined in against a Rays offense that I don't believe in either.
Yeah, I'm interested in joining you. I'm gonna put some question mark. I'm gonna cut the Rays first 5 under, even though I really want Pepio. But maybe I've got to dive deeper into his statistics, and if there's teams with that smash fastballs, then maybe it should be a walk. Stay away. Justin McKelvey though says Rays first 5 with confidence. So, all right, let's roll on. So next up here for us, Pete will be getting us going. 7:05 p.m. Eastern. Oakland Athletics 9-14, 5-5 on the road. New York Yankees 15-8, 6-4 at home. We're in the Bronx Yankee Stadium here for this one. Let's get into the weather first and foremost in the Bronx. We have 53 Fahrenheit. It's cool. 14 miles per hour right to left, and very, very slightly in. Dies down to 9.6 by the end of the game. We have Paul Blackburn going up against Marcus Stroman. We all saw what JP Sears did to it. It was very impressive. Very, very impressive. Let's get into the money line here for this one. We have Stroman sitting here at minus 202. Yankees opened up minus 203. So we've had no movement there at penny. When we get into the total here, we're sitting with a 8 minus 109 to the under. Open up minus 105 to the under. So we had 4 cents of movement. There had not been movement. This had been moving towards the over until just recently with a slight move to the under. When we get into the cash flow, here, we have 80% of the tickets and 76% cash on the under. Curious as to why this hasn't moved towards the under. 91% tickets, 97% cash on the Yankees. Again, line's not moving towards the Yankees. Maybe it is time to back Paul Blackburn in this spot. It's coming off that 6-3 win at home over the Cardinals. Got touched for 3 earned runs. He's been electric this year. 2-0, 1.08 ERA, 1 whip. Looked very good. Hasn't allowed a jack yet. Stroman coming up that 6-4 win at the Jays. 5 1/3, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 homer, 2 Ks, and 2 walks. That one really bothered me. I didn't have first 5. I only took full game. That was Kevin Gausman's last start. And Gausman looked great. Outpitched Stroman. But Eric Swanson came in for his first opportunity. It was just a very questionable decision-making by Schneider as to who would be pitching for the Jays in that bullpen. And it blew up in the face of all of us and cost me money. A's versus righties, 202, 600 OPS. Yankees versus righties, 236, 708 OPS. And when we want to talk bullpens, the Yankees bullpen, 3.11 ERA, 1.23 whip, 219 opponent batting average. And they've converted 12 of 15 saves. So, there's a few squads that have been very good shutting the door. The Mariners, the Yankees, the Cardinals, the Braves, been very good at that. The A's have been okay bullpen-wise. Very okay. It's not even enough. They've been. You can say
they have the best closer in baseball now. Well.
And he's throwing. The only pitcher throwing a fastball faster than him is Jose Soriano on the Angels. So it's Miller second, Soriano's first, and Soriano's bet on as wine time is. It's a. And that was my only bet when we were talking on the weekend, Jose. 2.88 ERA is the A's bullpen. Now that they've only converted 5 of 9 save opportunities. It's not all on Miller. 1.17 whip and opponents are hitting 226 against them. Take it away for us here. Pistol Pete Loshak. You've done such a great job over the last few years backing the A's on the road, and letting us know how they have more value in that situation when we get out of Oakland Coliseum. Yeah. Do you have any interest in them here in the Bronx?
No, I wanted to take the Yanks, but then at the line, which was not a shock, I couldn't pull the trigger on it. No way I can take the Yankees at this line. Lean under, actually lean Oakland team total under. Stroman is bit of a wild card. It can often be lights out, and then often give up 3 or 4 runs in 5 innings. You're like, where did I see that? I didn't see that coming. I think this is probably going to be a decent spot for him. So maybe even Oakland team total under, perhaps. No way I can take the Yankees at this line, though. Lean under. And actually lean maybe even Blackburn under on the strikeout prop at 4.5. Not going to pull the trigger on that one, though. But yeah, so leaning under, leaning Oakland team total under, leaning Blackburn under strikeouts. I'm not sure if I'll make anything official, though.
Primetime under, or primetime 99 on the first 5 under, 4.5. TJ says low scoring game with better pitcher on the dog. Give me Oakland first 5 plus a half at plus money, please. Doug is on the under 8. My concern here, and I'm looking forward for Jose to touch on this, is why is the line not moving towards the under? And who's the most vulnerable here? You'd have to think it was Stroman, despite the fact that the Yankees are could bounce back after being shut out. What's your take on this, Jose? Take it away.
Yeah, I'm going to be on Oakland here. First 5 plus a half. Plus 115 for me here. I'll bet it right now as I'm explaining it. Yeah, here's the thing. I just think that, especially a guy like Paul Blackburn, I think there's definitely a mental element of pitching against the Yankees, and the Yankees, blah, 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 big home or big city market, et cetera, et cetera. He's pitched against the Yankees 3 times. He's pitched against them 5 in the third, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 5 innings, 5 hits, 3 earned runs, and then 5 shut. He pitches against them once a year, basically. So that goes back to 2021. He's been, again, we all know, a good first 5 pitcher. The A's, for some reason, always find a way to score with him on the bump. And he is undefeated this year, pitching wise. His team has not lost a game. He has started. So I respect my guy, Paul Blackburn. I'll keep backing him here. Marcus Stroman, very good. That's why I took the plus a half. I expect this to be a lower scoring first 5 here as well. But I didn't bet the total. You mentioned no movement on it. But the thing that I was more exciting about, the more movement or no movement on, 91% of the bets, 97% of the money on the Yankees, and it really hasn't moved much. And if anything, it's moved down a bit. So I definitely like my Oakland A's here. So I rock and roll with them first 5 plus a half, plus 115. Not going to get greedy and go for the big score here.
I'm right with you. You, TJ, I'm gonna roll with you guys. I'm gonna tail. Pete, we move on.
Yeah, let's move on. I was thinking about chucking on some kind of under one way or another, but yeah, let's move. Let's move. Definitely leaning first 5 under though. Let's move on, I guess.
7. Well, and we can circle back.
Yeah,
7:20 p.m. Eastern is next. Jose Bouquett will be getting us started here. Miami Marlins 6-18, 4-7 on the road. The Atlanta Braves 15-6, 7-3 at home at Truist Park in Atlanta, Georgia. Got a couple of lefties here on the bump. Trevor Rogers going up against Maximus Fried. Let's take a look at the line history here for this one. Of course, we need to know the weather in hot Atlanta. Is it starting to heat up? Which we're all hoping for. No, 70 Fahrenheit at first pitch, 10.1 miles per hour in, dives down to 6.7 by the end of the game. Let's get into the line history then. Totals wise, we're sitting here with an 8.5 minus 115 to the under. This opened up at 9. So we have had a half run move to the under, and it is juiced on the under. Let's get into the money line then for this spot. We have the Braves sitting at minus 249, opened up minus 239, so 10 cents of movement towards them. When we get into the cash flow for this spot, we have 95% of the tickets and 97% of the cash on the Atlanta Braves, an alarming amount of money there. 58% of the tickets and 63% of the cash on the over, and yet this is dropped down to the under. Coin saying make room on the Oakland bus for me, guys. I like a coin. Dabby Cab on the Braves team total over 5 here on this one. Trevor Rogers 0-2, 3.92 ERA, 1.55 whip, 20 strikeouts in 20 2/3 with 8 walks. Hasn't allowed a jack yet this year. Coming off a nice performance at home versus the Giants, who actually I don't have their numbers lefty in front of me. I can't quite remember how they're doing. 5 2/3, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 6 Ks, no walks. Maximus Fried on the other side, coming off his first decent start against the team that smashes lefties in the Houston Astros. And now he gets to face the Marlins, who can't hit lefties at all. 199, 539 OPS. Braves are hitting 267, 783 OPS, looking very strong. And then when we get to the bullpen, the Braves 3.38 ERA, 8 of 10 save converted, 1.13 whip, opponents hitting 225 against them. They've looked very good, and the Marlins have not looked good. 5.17 ERA. They've only converted 4 of 11 save opportunities with a 1.56 whip, and opponents are hitting 271 against them. Take it away for us here, Jose Bouquett, Marlins, Braves.
No action here, really, but the cash cow play of the day. Hopefully more of them, but this one is thus far the Braves here. So shout out to Troy Torrance. Jimmy, I don't know if you heard him say this. I think he said this with me on Sunday that if he could pick one betting trend to bet for the rest of his life, it'd be the cash cow play. Just loading up on the, and maybe public, whatever, but the run lines and all that good stuff. So shout to him. I'll probably put him in a parlay. And these guys have faced, well, I don't know if they face, yeah, actually they did face each other already. 5 innings, 8 hits, 2 earned runs. 6 1/3, 4 hits, 1 earned run for Fried, and then that first one was Rogers. So they both pitched well, but I do expect Rogers to get touched up here, and then the Marlins are just horrible against lefties. So all your bets are cashing courtesy of Troy Torrance today. So shout out to that. But I'll get the door now.
All right, Pistol Pete, Loshak, Marlins, Braves.
Yeah. I kind of agree with Atlanta, although the line is huge. Not a great spot for Rogers, I don't think, and I really want to take his under strikeouts prop. And what the hell? I will. I'm gonna take Rogers under strikeouts. I'll shop around. I'm seeing 4.5 minus 107 at Pinnacle right now. I'll shop around. Can probably get better in a few other places. Fried. I know the Marlins are bad against lefties, and he faced them once and was good, but I'm just not trusting the guy right now. I definitely don't trust him. Would love to take him over, but not going to pull the trigger on that. And we'll probably think hard about taking Atlanta. For now, the only thing I'll give official is Rogers under strikeouts, 4.5 minus 107 Pinnacle, and I'll shop around to try to get better somewhere else.
Under 4.5 minus 107. Doesn't. But
I'm going to shop around. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, and we can circle back. This doesn't really appeal to me here enough. I kind of like, how Rogers looked in that last start, but I do not want to poke the Braves here. Dabby Cab saying 0-6 with 8 appearances, 5.7 ERA versus the Braves. JP says Braves run line was money. How do I make money betting the Braves today? And BJ saying Braves most public play on the MLB board, backwood, which I get. Says too public, not worth investing, in his opinion. Let's move on. 7:40 p.m. Eastern. Next up for us, we have the Chicago White Sox 3-19, 1-10 on the road. What a disgrace. At the Minnesota Twins 8-13, 3-6 at home. We're at Target Field in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Let's start with the weather in Minnesota. We're sitting there with 58 Fahrenheit, 14.9 miles per hour left to right, and it's slightly out. By the end of the game, it's slightly in, so it does flip. Or it's switch is better probably than flip. Let's get into the line history here for this one. Twinkies, White Sox. The Twinkies and Pablo Lopez are sitting at minus 264. They open up minus 239. So there's been a big move towards the Minnesota Twins. Let's get into the total here in this one. From a total side of things, we are dealing with a 7 minus 103 to the under. This opened up at 7.5 and has dropped to 7. So we have a move, legit move towards the under, and we'll see if the cash flow correlates with all of that. We have 92% of the tickets and 93% of cash on the Twins, line moving towards the Twins. Then we only have 47% of tickets and 53% of cash on the under. So why then would it be moving towards the under? Interesting. Very, very interesting. Now, Jarek White, not scared of it, but that is very, very appealing market-wise to me. And we can explain it. First off, both Fetty and Pablo Lopez have had strong starts to the year. Now, maybe Pablo not as much with the 3.97 ERA, but he's got 0.97 whip, 23 Ks and 4 walks. He looks very strong. His last start was against the Orioles in Baltimore. Not easy, and he allowed 1 earned run. It was a solo shot with 7 Ks and no walks. These teams are the 2 worst teams in the league against righties. You have the White Sox hitting 192 with a 559 OPS, the Twins hitting 198 with a 622 OPS. Both teams are under the Mendoza line here. And Fetty, for all of his horrific play in the Nationals uniform, they kept him for a long time because he was a highly thought of prospect. He's looked pretty good here. He's allowed 5 jacks and 20 in the third. But he's coming off a 2-1 win at home over the Royals, where he went 5 2/3, didn't allow a run, 5 Ks and 3 walks. This under is becoming more appealing as we discuss it. From a bullpen standpoint, it's not the White Sox bullpen that's been the problem. Now, I know they've only converted 3 of 8 save opportunities, so you could still point at them, but 3.72 ERA, now 1.41 whip. They're not as good as their numbers indicate. They've, balls have been hit at players. And then for these Minnesota Twins, it's their bullpen. The only reason why they're still relevant. A 2.77 ERA, 1.18 whip. Opponents hitting 216 against them. The bullpen has been very strong. Here we go. We start with Peter Loshak on this one, White Sox Twins.
Yeah, let me see. Where am I? Yeah, where am I here? Yeah. Yeah, at the line, I can't take it. Definitely lean under, though, and definitely lean White Sox team total under. And I might pull the trigger on that. Of course, it's going to be a low team total, so I'll have to see what line I can get. Would love to take Lopez to get 7 strikeouts. Everywhere I'm looking now has 7.5 at plus money, which is a little bit less good. But at 7, I would like it, and definitely leaning White Sox team total under, and leaning under. Might make some of those official. Got to see what's going on here.
I would like to get involved in the under. DC Capper on the under 7.5. Jose, how are you handling this one?
No action for me here, but I feel a Pablo Lopez complete game shutout coming here. I feel like he just dominates here, but no action here for me.
Huh.
Over 18.5 pitching outs at plus money is tempting as well for Lopez.
If you, we'll ask both you guys. Let's start with you, Pete. If you were given a free $500 bet, had to be on an under, first 5 or full game, what would you pick? 3.5 and 7.
3.5 and 7 because I'm seeing 7.5. Oh, geez, yeah, full game.
You can use
sure.
7.5.
Yeah, full game.
Full game for me. Yeah.
So you do believe enough, or it's not that you believe in the White Sox bullpen; it's that you have no fear throwing anybody against the Twins.
Yeah, I just think this is lined up for Pablo to have a really good outing. I just don't think the Twins score 7 on their own.
Okay, I want to be involved in an under. I'm not doubling up on it, so I'll have to decide whether it's a full game or first 5. And I still feel like the volatility with the bull, but I shouldn't. I should let that go. They've been okay. Okay, I got to figure that out. I'm going to be on either first 5 or full game under in this White Sox Twinkies spot. We roll on. Next up for us, 7:40 p.m. Eastern, we head to Wrigley Field in Chicago, Illinois. Astros 7-16, 3-7 on the road. Cubs 13-9, 7-3 at home, looking good. We have JP France, who's looked horrific this year, going up against the lefty Jordan Wicks, who's coming off a nice start himself. Let's start here with the weather in Wrigley, the rare, not as much these days, but night game over at Wrigley Field. We have 59 Fahrenheit, 13.9 miles per hour to left center. Dies down to 9.1, sort of slightly moves out to right field, but the wind is blowing out. Viper MB says Jimmy loves Fetty, and I don't know if it's off my bankroll, but the National sure believed in him for a long time. Let's get into the money line here. We have the Astros at -112. They open up at -109. 3 cents of movement towards the Houston Astros. Again, these market moves are all going to be pinnacle market moves. From a total standpoint here, we have it sitting at 10.5. There's 10 at other books. This opened up at 10, got up to 10.5, then it went back down to 10, and then back up to 10.5. So it's bouncing back and forth from 10 to 10.5. If we look at the cash flow and see if it's moving towards the over, it's not. You have 64% of the tickets and 52% of the cash on the under. So it's sharp action that's taking this to the over. 60% of the tickets and 47% of cash is on the Houston Astros. And when you look at JP France with a 7.08 ERA, Jordan Wicks with a 5.29 ERA, wind blowing out, I don't understand why it's not at the over. Justin McKelvey stacks play today is Yordan Alvarez RBI at +115. So here we go. France last start was much better. He allowed 2 solo shots in the 5-4 extra inning loss at home versus the Braves. He looked much better against a tough hitting Brave squad, but he has a 7.08 ERA, 8 walks and 20 in the third. Has not looked very good. Jordan Wicks also coming off a nice start at Arizona, 4 in the third. Now you'd want your starter probably to touch 5 innings if you want to call it a good start, but 2 in runs, 1 homer, 5 Ks. Astros are smashing lefties, 277, 789 OPS, and the Cubs are not hitting righties. It's the lefties that they're smashing. And then when we get to the bullpen here, these Cubbies have a 3.99 ERA, 1.36 whip, opponents hitting 224. The Cubs have only converted 5 of 11 save opportunities, and the Astros have looked horrible. Their bullpen is a 5.36 ERA, a 1.52 whip, opponents hitting 274 against them. The Houston Astros have converted just 2 of 8 save opportunities, 2 of 8. It is time to hear from young Jose Bouquett. Astros Cubbies, take it away.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about moving on this game until the breakdown. I definitely leaned Cubs, and I was like, all right, how am I going to back the Cubs here? But Jordan Wicks is obviously terrifying. He's not been like bad this year. Flash start, 4 and a third, 5 hits, 2 earned runs. But Jimmy, he's a lefty, correct?
Yes. You're talking about Wicks?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just scary to bet Houston against a lefty, or bet against Houston when they were going against lefty. 134 weighted runs created plus. I bet the over. I mean, this game screamed over to me now while listening to all this. I got 10 minus 120. I expect to see 10.5 here as well. 2 things, or I guess one thing I've been very right about this season is the Astros regression train. Like I've said this whole year that I think the Astros are not going to be that good. I was back and forth on saying they're not going to make the playoffs and have them be my Rangers for this year. But I just think that this bullpen is not good. JP France is not good. And I'll take a good hitting Cubs team here. Now, again, I wanted to back the Cubs here. I just don't trust Wicks. So my way of backing the Cubs bats here is just to bet the over. And I'm on it, minus 120 for 10.
This feels like a kind of a low-hanging fruit situation. Pete, what do you think about Jose on the over? TJ says over seems like the obvious play with these pitchers who've been so bad this year. I don't know why I feel like something's fishy about this. Ray D'Amico also on the over.
I'll say this real quick too, Jimmy. I had 2 of these same things happen to me on Sunday. It was like, oh, this is like the most obvious play to me. And then I'll look at the market and it'll be either split or bet the other, like on the other side. I'm like, well, okay, well then I've got to bet this. If this seems so obvious to me, then it's not like super public, then I've got to bet it. So that's why I bet those on Sunday, and that's kind of what I'm feeling here the same way. Like this does seem like a pretty obvious spot, but still not that many like tickets and cash are on the over here.
This has screwed me up when I'm sitting there going, well, who in their right mind would be betting the under in this baseball game? And gets me off of what could possibly be ground fruit. Take it away, Pete. Astros Cubs.
Yeah, I might, I don't think it's necessarily a lock, but to start, I'll definitely take run in the first. Yes. Again, it could lose, but I think there's some value. Looking around, Caesars actually has a best line, minus 135. Houston Cubs run in the first. Yes, minus 135. Yeah, I do think first 3 over is tempting, even though it's 3.5 at plus money. And I do think the first 5 is tempting as well. I definitely wouldn't want the full game because if the first 5 doesn't go over, then I would not. If the first 5 doesn't go over 5 or 5.5. I wouldn't want full game over 10. But yeah, I mean, I don't think it's, sometimes these obvious plays do lose. And of course, a lot of times the obvious plays are actually negative EV and you just got suckered in. But sometimes they're positive EV and they just lost because you lost the coin flip there. But I'm going to take run in the first. Yes, minus 135 Caesars. Tempted to take over 5.5 or of course buy to 5 at minus 149 Pinnacle. But yeah, I think that I don't trust both of these. I don't trust either of these starters in a real way, and they should not be good here.
I've been considering taking a toe dip into the Yurfie trains as well, and just thinking about doing them during like Dodgers games because we've talked about how ridiculous they are. And this game would be the other like Yurfie game of the day for me as well here, Pete. So I agree with you there.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's not like if it loses, I'll think maybe that was the wrong play, but I won't be. That was definitely the wrong play. I'll be like, maybe minus 135. Maybe the fair line should have been, I don't know, minus 160, and I just lost the weighted coin flip. I don't know.
I wish I was tracking these spots where it's just so clearly an over, but bets are being made on the under, and I stay off. I wish I was tracking them. I got to start. I just have to track so much. It's hard to add.
And you know what?
Here.
Sorry. We can also chuck on JP France under 4.5 strikeouts. I'm seeing minus 116 at Pinnacle, but I'm going to shop around for a better line. We'll chuck that one on as well. JP France under 4.5 strikeouts, minus 116. But I'm going to shop around and get better.
Consider it chucked, Peter.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you, Jim.
You're welcome, my friend. We move on. I have tripled up on your next game, and I would have quadrupled up, but I just felt like if I like walk at home, why would I take a first three at minus 130? I believe that Kevin Gausman is bet on immediately, and that we have this huge advantage with Gausman and to a lesser extent Griffin Canning because of how bad their numbers look when we know that they're quality pitchers. And maybe again, some people don't believe that Griffin Canning is, and that's fine. And he shouldn't probably be talking the same conversation as a Kevin Gausman, who is a Cy Young candidate year to year. Gausman 0-2, 8.16 ERA, 1.74 WHIP. I mean, he is who we saw in that loss at home to the Yankees. 5 innings, 1 earned run, 6 Ks, 3 walks. I think he's very, very capable here, and I want to bet on him as much as possible. Right now, the Jays opened up at minus 117. They're minus 120. 3 cents of movement towards them. That's fine. Joe Yurvich has Canning slightly below average. That's perfect. That's what I want everybody to think. So that's great, Joe. Tell everybody. Let's get into the total in this one. 8.5 minus 110 to the under. This opened up at 8.5, dropped to 8 for a cup of coffee and came right back to 8.5. We've had 7 cents of movement towards the under. Let's get into the total here. Or sorry, the cash flow here in this one. We have 47% of the tickets and 56% cash on the over. And then we have 80% of tickets and 53% cash on the Jays, a situation that I would generally not want to be involved in. So Gausman, Waka 1-2, 3.75 ERA, 1.04 WHIP. He's coming off a good start against the weak hitting White Sox at Chicago, but his home start that he had this year was spectacular. The Jays are not hitting 228, 682 versus righties. The Royals are coming back to earth, 233, 720 OPS. And as much as I believe that the Jays bullpen will improve, once we start, we're flirting with Pearson getting high leverage situations. We know that Jimmy Garcia is the real deal. And then we need Romano and Swanson to get, they had the late start because of injuries. I still fear when the decisions that Schneider makes. 5.16 ERA. They've converted 7 of 8 save opportunities, though. 1.35 WHIP, 240 opponents batting. They're much better than those numbers indicate. That doesn't mean that I need to trust them, and I don't want to trust them. The Royals, 3.48 ERA. They've converted 6 of 8 save opportunities. They have a 1.47 WHIP and opponents hitting 255. They're going to be worse here. Hunter Engelhardt says time to ride. Both the Jays and the Astros rise back to where they should be. So here we go. I moved on the first 3 under 2.5. I moved on the first 5 under 4.5. I moved on the Blue Jays first 5, and I didn't move on the first 3. And I realized the one thing I haven't told you guys yet is the weather over there in KC. 72 Fahrenheit, 11.5 miles per hour left to right, and it's slightly in. I really think. And now Dabby has a better idea of this stuff, but I do think it helps movement for both of these pitchers who need movement. Mike says Gausman had 98 miles per hour last time, but couldn't put it away. I think Gausman's bet on right now. This is a huge, huge advantage that everybody's looking at how weak these numbers are. So here we go. Pete Loshak starts this one out. Blue Jays, Royals. Pete, take it away.
Yeah. I don't know. I certainly wasn't thinking KC full first 5. as a direct fade of Gaussman, but as a dog, I was thinking KC plus at plus money was the way to go. This looks like a freaking Troy Torrance special right here, right? Gaussman, the line, the market movement. This looks like Troy Torrance could just tell us exactly what to do here. My thought was KC, though. I know that these small dogs, Troy Torrance is not high on. I didn't bet it, but that's what I was thinking about, and I definitely want to look into some strikeout props. I haven't had a chance to price it out yet, but yeah, I was leaning KC. Wanted to hear what you guys had to say on it.
Well, maybe Troy Torrance will tell you what to do, maybe. But Altu Byron has told us what to do. He's going to use sativa live resin in a gravity bong, the Spider Monkey Fallopian Thin Mints OG Cushy Punch for this baseball game. Jose, what is your plan?
Yeah, I honestly, I was right there with Pete. I leaned Royals in this game as well. I didn't make any moves on this game either, which I guess is a good sign for you, Jimmy. We both leaned that way and didn't get there, but I leaned Royals. I just thought, who knows about Kevin Gausman. I like Walk at home. Royals have been kind of getting beaten up, so I could see them coming in. But
Kevin Gausman is going to shove out there today. I truly believe that, and I'll show up tomorrow and say, "Look, I was so wrong." But I don't care. This is one of those games where I don't even care about the market. I don't care about anything. I watch Gausman. I watch him closely. He's going to go on a run here, whether it's in Toronto or outside Toronto. And the fact that his numbers are so pitiful is going to give us a huge advantage in the marketplace, I believe.
And Troy, by the way, saying that this spot is in the same range as that Philly spot earlier in the show for the Blue Jays.
Yeah, I like Walk at home. I really, really, really. And we're going to talk about Griffin Canning here as well. I'm watching these guys. I'm watching their whole starts. I'm going over all the data. I think we have this enormous advantage because of the way they've started out their season. So
maybe waiting and when Gaussman's gone, live betting KC if they're down might be worth a play.
Panger Life says Gaussman done. This is perfect. So that's exactly what I want cappers to think. Panger, please tell everybody you know. Okay, are we moving on past this spot? Okay, we move on. Jose will be starting this one as well. 7:45 p.m. Eastern. Arizona Diamondbacks 11-13, 4-7 on the road at the St. Louis Cardinals. 10-13, 4-6 at home. And yeah, Joe Yurgis says Gaussman can shove and still lose the full game. That's why I'm not on the full game. Busch Stadium in St. Louis, Missouri. Let's get into the total. The weather. We'll start with the weather here in this one. Move over here in this Cardinals spot. So there's light rain that's supposed to come mid-game. I wonder if the RotoWire has any kind of concern on it. Let me just see here and they do. They've concern. We talked about the concern in the Cubs game. They have some concern in this one here, but I imagine that it will go. The concern here will be, whether there's a stoppage in this one. 57 Fahrenheit, 7.9 miles per hour left to right, and then it becomes out to right field, but it's pretty light. It is pretty light. Let's get into the line history here for this spot and the total. From a total side of things here, we have a 9 now. I don't know why all the books haven't moved to 9, honestly. And the interesting thing about this line, it came out at 9:06 this morning, 8.5, and then it moved to 8. I mean, clearly that's should be a move that we respect. Back up to 8, then down to 8. Sorry, down to 8, back up to 8.5, back to 8, and now it's at 9. And that really threw me for a bit of a loop here. Maybe you guys can help in this one. From a money line standpoint, in this one we have Steven Matz, who we were just certain that he was going to come back to earth, which he's done. There's been a 12-cent move to the St. Louis Cardinals. So maybe, we talked about how he was vulnerable, that loss at the A's. Maybe he comes back home and looks good. I find that impossible to believe. We know this guy, and he's got a ton of character, and that's why teams will keep, picking him up. But I just do not believe in Steven Matz. And then the issue is, Jose has no belief whatsoever in Tommy Henry. We have no belief in these two starting lefties, and only one team hits lefties, and that's the Arizona Diamondbacks. So why is this move happening to the Cardinals? It's the Diamondbacks are hitting 312 with an 833 OPS versus lefties, while the Cards are just hitting 185, 617 OPS. I mean, it's hard to fully understand here, why this move is happening to the Cardinals. And then when we get to the bullpens here in this one, the Cardinals bullpen has been good. 3.33 ERA. They've converted 8 of 10 save opportunities, 1.23 whip. Opponents hitting 235 against them. The Diamondbacks bullpen has not been very good. They've converted just 4 of 10 save opportunities, a 4.18 ERA, which isn't terrible, 1.37 whip, but 260 opponents batting average. Here we go. We start with Jose Bouquett, Diamondbacks, Cardinals. Take it away.
Yeah, first 5 over makes a whole lot of sense here. I mean, Steven Matz going back home, obviously, you think he's going to go well, but the Diamondbacks hit lefties, like you mentioned. The real issue is the Cardinals' offense is just so bad. Like they just anemic at times, and they showed up yesterday to fuck me. But I didn't want anything to do with this game. I lean first 5 over here. But the line movement is interesting and weird enough to get me off the game. So easy pass here for me. Oh, look at that. By the way, TJ, Darren, glad Daryl doesn't show up around these parts during baseball season, but he's saying, I don't give a fucking shit what the spread is on the Arizona Diamondbacks first 5. Very nice.
Wow. And then Hunter saying worried about Matz against his Diamondbacks team, but keep sides out of it. Just use totals. Wow. Let's hear how Pete's going to put this one together. Cardinals at home to the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I'm not convinced this is a bad spot for Matz. I kind of predict he'll do like 5-2, maybe a little bit better than people are expecting. I would lean under, to be honest, but yeah, I don't know if I'm going to pull the trigger on that, but I would lean under. Full game, obviously, not first 5. Definitely lean under. And if there are runs early, then maybe a live bet on the under would be good or great.
I mean, the biggest advantage here is Diamondbacks versus lefties against Cards versus lefties. I mean, why wouldn't we? The problem is here. Well, let's go to first 5 market movement instead, because obviously the full game market movement's concerning. It's concerning that Pete's leaning in the direction, or that Matt's is going to have a decent start here. All of that kind of concerning. And here on the first 5, I don't have Pinnacle line movement, so we can use. Let's use Bet Online. Bet Online. Again, anybody looking to open up a new account, if you do it through our website, pubsportsradio.com, and use our promo code PubSports, they will give you 100% a bonus up to $1,000, and it doesn't have to be Bitcoin. And this here, Arizona's gone from plus 103 to plus 115. And I love that TJ doesn't give a fuck what the spread is. Leroy Flood says, what do you think about the 0 runs first inning in the Royals game? Leroy, if I feel like I have an advantage, I don't want one poorly placed pitch that's sent yard to take money out of my pocket. But yes, it correlates exactly with how I feel the game's going to go. So if it's not juiced too poorly, then yes, I completely get it. So Jose, you off Diamondbacks, Cardinals. What the hell we do with it?
Yeah, no, I'm off. Well, I'll just watch. I'll be an interested viewer. But there's 2 other games on the slate that I'm interested in tonight more than this one.
Okay, we roll on here, and this one we'll start with Peter Loshak, 8:05 p.m. Eastern with the Seattle Mariners, 11-11, 4-5 on the road at Texas Rangers, 12-11, 5-5 at home. We're at Globe Life Field in Arlington, Texas. So we need to know, is it between 65 and 80 degrees? It is. So this roof will be open, 73 Fahrenheit at first pitch. It goes down to 69. This roof will be open. And BJ says this is Cardinals all the way. My reasoning is simple. Yesterday they were begging you to bet the Brewers, and they're begging us to take the Diamondbacks. No, that is legit. I can't. I know Steven Matz pretty well. Just as I don't know him personally, but just I cannot have faith in him. I don't want my money on him. But I hear what you're saying, BJ, and that does make sense. Here we have Logan Gilbert going up against Dan Dunning. That's fishy, Leroy, that it's just minus 110. I guess what the full game is moved to 8. Maybe then it's around the right line. I was thinking it was going to be more costly than that. Okay, Logan Gilbert going up against Dan Dunning here. So we talked about that the roof would be open, but I didn't mention what the weather was going to be like. Sorry, I said the temperature, but 14.5 miles per hour to left field, goes from 14.5 down to 10.2. Let's get into the line history here for this one. Line history-wise, we have Logan Gilbert. Oh, that's first 5. Sorry. Let me just move over to full game quickly. I apologize. Here we go. Full game over at Penny. The Mariners at minus 110. They opened up at minus 107, so just 3 cents of movement towards them. When we get to the total here, Jarek White on the over. This has moved to 9 now. It's not a real 9 over at Penny. This opened up at 9. Wow, and it dropped to 8.5. So, wow, this opened up at 9. I didn't realize that. So at this point, there has been a move towards the under. There had been a pretty big move as it went down to 8.5 a few times, but this under 9 was minus 119 at one point. Now it's minus 115, so 5 cents of movement. And then when we get to the cash flow for this spot, we have 62% of the tickets and 54% of the cash on the Texas Rangers. Bigger bets are coming in on the Mariners. 91% of the tickets and 90% of the cash on the over. 91 and 90. It's a bit of a surprise as we've seen it cutting down to 8.5 and then back up. Logan Gilbert's last start was at home versus the Reds. He looked very good. 1 earned run over 6 2/3. He's looked great all year. 2.33 ERA, 0.78 WHIP. I mean, that's been fantastic. I mean, the 4 home runs is a bit of a problem in 27 innings, but 29 strikeouts and 4 walks. Dane Dunning, 2-1, 3.91 ERA, 1.22 WHIP. His last start allowed 1 earned run, 5 innings, 3 hits, 5 Ks, 4 walks, 5-4 win at Detroit. Mariners are not hitting righties at all. 232, 672 OPS, and the Rangers hit righties hard. 264, 745 OPS. The Mariners just aren't hitting at all. Now, they are pitching well, and that's saving them here. Their bullpen looks very, very good. They've only had 6 save opportunities. They've converted 5 of them. 2.69 ERA, 1.04 WHIP. Opponents hitting 192 off of them. That's very, very, very impressive. The Rangers can't say the same about them. 4.86 ERA, converted 4 of 7. 1.37 WHIP. Opponents hitting 236 against them. So here we go. Pistol Pete, we go back to you. Mariners, Rangers, start us off.
Gosh, this is such one of the there's another one I think on this card. Don't overthink it or total trap, you sucker, because Dane Dunning, I am not a fan of. I think he's like if anything, maybe even going to get a bit worse. Might have even gotten a bit lucky based on some of the stuff that I look at. And Logan Gilbert looks like the real deal. Yeah, now he's going on the road facing Texas, so that's a different situation. But and then you got this line. God, they're fucking in Seattle. They're begging me. They're like, Pete, we got so much of your money, but we want just a little bit more. Would you mind betting Seattle first 5 or first 3 in this one? I don't know if we can do it, Jimmy the Bag, but Logan Gilbert is the real deal to me. Dane Dunning, I think, is bad and maybe even worse. I don't know what to do here, Jim.
I'm in the same realm. Although that Dane Dunning does look good at home often. But Logan Gilbert, I mean, doesn't he have to be bet on? I feel like he has to be bet on. And Joe Yerv says Mariners pitching advantage throughout the game. That's fair. And you could say that the Rangers have a hitting advantage throughout the game. Take it away, Jose. Gilbert, Dunning, Mariners, Rangers.
Yeah, I didn't bet anything on this game. I just looked up Logan Gilbert's numbers against the Rangers. He's basically 6 innings, 3 earned runs every time. And then for good old Dane Dunning, it's kind of hit or miss. 3 1/3, 4 hits, 1 earned run. 5 1/3, 4 hits, 4 earned runs. 6 innings, 6 hits, 2 earned runs all last year. So no action for me. I just didn't want anything to do with it.
What about the total? Did it not pique your interest at all?
The under did because of all that over money and it not moving. Yes, that was the thing that I was semi-interested in. If I had to make a bet on this game, free $500 bet, if like you say, it'd be on the under.
Why would 90% of the tickets, 91% of cash be on the over? Roof open, is that part of it? Wind blowing out, roof open. I mean, it's still a pitcher's ballpark, despite the roof being open. Pete, did you have any interest in the under?
No.
Morgan Spooner saying Jonah Heim, Rangers best catcher, upgraded, healthy and likely going to start. Okay, I can get off this one. Top set looking at the first 5 under. And Justin McKelvey tailed Dabby Cab with the Seager over 1.5 bases. Doug looking at the first 5 under as well. And Mally Mouse says the public thinking about this series versus the Braves. So is it hard for you to stay off this game, Jose, or is it really easy?
Real easy. Because I have other bets. So.
Okay, well, you're going to be starting off this one 8:40 p.m. Eastern with the San Diego Padres 13-12, 7-4 on the road. The Colorado Rockies 5-18, 3-7 at home at Coors Field in Denver, Colorado. Let's get into the weather in Denver, Colorado. Now, Sun Dizzle's hometown, Denver, Colorado. 62 Fahrenheit, 8.6 miles per hour in. And then we have light rain coming late. Stays between 8.6 and 6.9 miles per hour. Let's get into the line history here for this spot. We have King coming off that spectacular start. We have this total sitting at 9.5. This opened up at 10.5. That's a big move to the under, and it's juiced to the under at 9.5. We've moved a whole run to the under. Let's get into the the money line line movements here in this one. We just have 2 games left after this, 2 very intriguing games at that. We have the Padres opening up -164. They're now -145. This is a big move towards Feltner and the Colorado Rockies. A big move. Let's see if the cash flow correlates with all of this. We have 10% of the tickets and 15% of the cash on the Colorado Rockies, and huge move towards them. I mean, it feels like the Sharps are betting against Michael King after that spectacular start, and the public is expecting Michael King to do this again. 93% of the tickets, 85% of cash on the under. We've seen that move heavily towards the under. And then trusting the bullpens, Colorado Rockies bullpen has had, of the Colorado Rockies, Jose, have played 23 games. What's your guess for how many save opportunities the Colorado Rockies have had?
5.
3.
God.
3 save opportunities. They're 1-3 in those. 5.17 ERA, 1.64 WHIP. Opponents are hitting 287 off of them. There's no world right now where you can back the Rockies full game. I hate saying that because here would be, I guess, the spot market-wise to do that. The Padres bullpen not being that good, but not bad. They've converted 8 of 11, 3.86 ERA, 1.25 WHIP, 239 opponents batting average. So Michael King coming off 10 strikeouts and 7 2/3, allowing 1 earned run, that 1-0 loss at the Brewers. Feltner coming off allowing 6 earned runs, 2 homers, 8 Ks, 2 walks, at the Phillies. Now the Padres don't have near the power against righties as they do against lefties, but the Rockies can't hit righties. 239, 676 OPS. I mean, is the market enough to get you to make a move on the Rockies here, Jose?
Yes, it is. I'm on Rockies first 5, plus 120, and I will be on them full game as well, plus 132. Now, I feel obviously a little better about this double up because they're both plus money, and if I just split, I still end up a winner here, so that obviously helps back my wings here. But, I mean, you said it yourself, Jimmy. Let me rate it again. 90% of the money, 85%, or sorry, I should have that backwards. 90% of the tickets, 85% of the money on the Padres, and the line is just plummeted right down. So this is just one of those, hey, come bet the Padres. Here's a cheaper price. Here's an even cheaper price, and everyone's doing it. So I'm on the Rockies here. If the Rockies lose, that's fine. But I'm on it first 5 full game for me here. I just think this is a good spot for them. And Ryan Feltner's not been horrible. He in the past he's been bad, but 6 earned runs against the Phillies. I like him bouncing back here. He pitched before that, obviously, against Toronto. 5 innings, 8 hits, 2 earned runs. Toronto team that's good at offense. So first 5 plus 120, full game plus 132. The Rocks for me here, Jimmy. Come join me. Come join a life on the Rocky side. First 5 is going to be fun.
Jesus. I can't double up on them. I'll have to figure out one spot to back them in, and I don't know how to back their bullpen.
That's why I specifically said, join me first 5.
I'm interested. There's no doubt about it. I'm interested.
I didn't look this up before. Is this Michael King's first start in Coors?
Oh, that's an important question. I can grab that.
I did not look at that. I'd love to see how he does back in Coors. Peter is back now. Welcome back, Pete.
Complete fucking bullshit. I don't know what the fuck that was all about. I'm back. I'm ready. What did I miss?
Nothing much. Do you have any thoughts on Padres Rockies here?
You've missed a lot. Jose's doubling up here on the Colorado Rockies. First 5 in full game at plus money spots.
Fear of missing out. I'm just worried that I missed out on, I don't really know what I'm going to do about this. I kind of like Colorado, but I missed out a lot of that, right?
No.
No, it was very declarative, Pete. It was very declarative. I put my nuts on the table and I said, here's my nuts. They're purple and black. Let's go Rockies.
No shit. Wow.
I should again. I took first 5 plus a half earlier in the show, and I just had a whole thing earlier in the program saying how I took first 5 money line. I push yesterday with the Rocks, but again, I said it yesterday when I bet it. I'll say it again here. The total's 10. We're expecting a higher volatility, so that's why I took the money line instead of the plus a half here.
Wow. Okay.
But yeah, I'm on first 5 full game here, Pete. I mean, Pete, you didn't hear this part of the breakdown, but 90% of the money and 85% of the bets are on the Padres in this game. This line opened up at minus 170 to the Padres. It's now minus 143 for the Padres. So this is when the books are telling you guys, we want you to bet the Padres. They've got 90% on it. They still want people to continue betting the Padres. You have to swallow your pride. And I forget who someone said it's like a no dignity bet or something like that. No dignity bet on the Rockies.
Wow. Jim, what are you thinking about this one?
You can't bet the Padres under any circumstances with King coming off being spectacular. And I can't back the Rockies bullpen, even though the market's saying it. So I think that I should roll with Jose on the Rockies first 5. That's what I think I should do, which I'll do. I can't. ESPN's messing up with the splits when you go back from year to year, which is so annoying. I don't know what the hell's wrong with them. Here, just 2023 seems to be messed up for some reason. In 2022, he did not go over to Michael King did not pitch at Coors. In 2021, let's see if he pitched in 2021. No,
I got you. He pitched there once in 23. It wasn't a start. He was a reliever. 2 innings, 2 hits, 2 earned runs on a home run, 4 Ks, 1 walk. So he's pitched there before. Oh, we lost PDM. Pete's gonna be fucking furious.
He's not gonna be pleased.
He's gonna be fucking furious. But yeah, no, I don't trust the fucking guy. Let's go Rockies.
You don't trust Pete?
No. So Michael King.
Okay.
Michael King. I trust Pete with my life. You know, well, why wouldn't I trust Peter?
He's good people. By the way, Mel is coming in here. BJ says Feltner no bueno. That's fine. I enjoy your saying King BABIP 188 due for regression. Sharps look at that stuff, no doubt. I'm going to move on the first 5 with the Rockies here, but really interesting stuff coming from Mel here. Now remember, Mel gave us Jets game 1 in series. She's loves her Colorado Avalanche, and she's fading them. Says there's a real issue here with Georgiev. The players are saying all the right things publicly, but players know inspecting their play. Kale McCarr is irritated. It's inexcusable that he had to yell at Georgiev to get off the ice because he was so zoned out that he didn't even acknowledge the bench is not good.
Mel, good luck. I do have the Avalanche winning the Stanley Cup this year, though, in a pool I'm in. So,
well, you can kiss that cash goodbye. But maybe it'll help you listen to us in the future. They're just not tough enough.
Well, don't worry. I had Florida. in there with them.
They have a lot of skill. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on to 9:38 p.m. Eastern. And this is the Griffin Canning discussion. Joe Yurkovich saying he's below average pitcher. I truly believe that he's going to be. Well, Jose Soriano's got by far the best stuff of any pitcher on the Angels. I mean, there's no one's going to.
Him and Reed Detmers, yeah.
We'll read that. But watch this. So now I'm not entirely sure, and I want to talk it out, and I want to market to mature and all that. And it's fun, not agreeing. It's not, So let's go. Angel Stadium in Anaheim, California. Here, these Angels just 2-5 at home. Let's take a look at the weather in Los Angeles. It is 61 Fahrenheit, 7.4 miles per hour to right field, between 7.4 and 7.2 miles per hour. So it's not really offensive weather, but not bad. Then the line history here for this one. On the money line, we have Griffin Canning and the Angels at plus 141. They opened up at plus 131, so there's been a 10-cent move towards the Baltimore Orioles and Grayson Rodriguez. Then from a total side of things, this is sitting at 8.5. Is it still -1? I haven't refreshed. It still is. Yeah. So this total's not moving. It is not moving. Top set says Canning is not good stock and Rodriguez is prime meat. Baltimore pass. I get it. And Joe Yerkes is slightly below average. Look, these are the pitchers that now I could totally be wrong. This could blow up my face, but these are the pitchers that you want to find where nobody agrees with you, nobody believes in you, and you move forward because you know that the betting public feels the same way as your colleagues, and that's what's happening here. We have 57% of the tickets and 66% of cash on the over, 89% of tickets and 87% of cash on the Baltimore Orioles, and line's clearly moving in their direction. Obviously, I wasn't confident enough here to already come with cash in hand or, have already bet this. So Orioles versus righties, 260, 792 OPS. Angels versus righties, just 232, 663 OPS. And when we get to the bullpen information here, we have, the Baltimore Orioles bullpen right now, 4.28 ERA, converted just 6 of 11 save opportunities, 1.24 whip, and 236 opponents batting average. The Angels bullpens looked a little better of late. They've converted just 5 of 8 save opportunities, 4.70 ERA, 1.19 whip, 215 opponents batting average. Take it away, Jose. Grayson Rodriguez, Griffin Canning here in Los Angeles.
Yeah, unfortunately, this was a game I wasn't interested in either. I don't know what to make of Griffin Canning. I'll sit back and watch him with you and see how he does. Grayson Rodriguez, obviously very good. If he is good, you just think this under would be live here for sure, but no action for me here, unfortunately. I'll be interested to watch how Griffin Canning does, though, because of your strong feelings for him.
Buster Bayhusen says the over is 27-14-2 for the Angels when played as home team, coming off 2 unders the last 5 years. And then we have Morgan Spooner saying Canning's baseball savant page looks like dog shit. 40% fastball with a sinking trajectory that looks way different than his change. So I'm going to have to obviously put my money where my mouth is. I don't want to fake Grayson Rodriguez. I think he's the real deal. A 3-0, 2.63 ERA, 1.17 whip. And then last start, 16 for it's 2 runs, 6 Ks, 3 walks, 11-3 win at home over the Twins.
Sorry, guys.
No problem.
I don't know what's going on.
This Orioles-Angels game, nobody, I'm the only person alive that believes in Griffin Canning, but I don't want to fake Grayson Rodriguez. So I guess that leads me to the first 5 under, and maybe even the first 3 under, so I can double up and at least if I'm going to say this shit, fucking bet it. So I think just one bet on the first 5 probably isn't doing enough here. And Griffin Canning has real first inning issues. If you look at his numbers, 2nd through 9, well, he never gets to 9, but after the first inning, it's quite good. Take it away here for us. And then Thompson says you don't have to do it. That's why we talk it over. No. I look. Whenever everybody's against me, my ROI is very strong. And now when everybody's with you, the ROI isn't weak there either. Like, things have changed, but I don't mind being on an island. The thing is when you're going to say this shit, you have to back it up. You have to bet it. And I don't like right now, I'd like to have more than just first 5 under, but let's hear what Pete has to say about Canning, about Grayson Rodriguez, about the Orioles and Angels. Take it away, Pete.
Yeah, I was, let me just reorient myself here. I was thinking about Orioles team total over. I understand, why you might think so. So you're liking Canning.
I've been watching all of his starts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he has problems in the first inning, but I really think he's so much better than the numbers indicate.
Mm-hmm.
And his last start I thought was really nice. Now, I know he won at 5 in the third, 2 runs, but he allowed those 2 runs in the first inning. Then he now the Rays are not a good offense, but he completely shut him down. So, look, I'm going to, what does Wine Time think? Wine Time, you watch this team inside and out. It says if Canning can get past the first 2 innings, he can be good.
He says he'll likely be at this game, but he's off of it.
So did you have a lean on this spot, Pete, before we move into the final MLB?
No, but running the first is tempting for sure. Grayson Rodriguez can be iffy in the first inning as well. I mean, think about it. I'm just getting reoriented here, and then I will tell you what I'm deciding to do here.
By the way, Jimmy, 14-8 or the Orioles run line this year, and this is obviously Tim Earl betting and tracking this stuff. 14-8 plus 11 units. Money lines 15-7 up 5 units. So
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, Jim, I am going to do Baltimore Angels run in the first. Yes, I'll just quote a line for I'll just shop around. You can move on, but yeah, I'll quote a line in the first.
Okay, well, if Pete's on the Yurfie, I don't want to double down just because I'm, perturbed. So I will only be on the first 5 under. And then, what is the speaking of which, sorry, and I hate, but I wonder if I could get a nice price on. Let's see this quickly here. First 5. Wow, yeah. Look, the Angels are cheaper first 5 than they are full game. You don't get as good of a line, I should say. So I believe in Canning here, and I will, as I do, not say anything if I'm right, and we'll mention it if I'm wrong. Okay, let's move on to the final spot here on the board. New York Mets, 12-10, 6-4 on the road. San Francisco Giants, 11-13, 6-5 at home at Oracle Park in San Francisco, California. We have Luis Severino going up against Logan Webb. Logan Webb, I took a lot of heat for backing him last week. A ton of heat from you guys. And he was just lights out at home, where he's always lights out. I mean, who cares what we've seen from him on the road or early in the year or in the spring? He's the ace of the staff. He's going to deliver at home. Luis Severino, 2-1, 2.14 ERA, 1.3 whip. He's been very, very good, coming off a 9-1 win at home versus the Pirates. Mets aren't hitting righties. Giants aren't hitting righties. This feels like the perfect setup for the under. We have cash-wise 81% of tickets, 83% cash on the over. It's dropping like a rock. 85% of tickets, 62% cash on the Giants, which tells you that Severino is going to pitch nice here. The weather in San Francisco, 57 Fahrenheit, 15.4 miles per hour to left field. Now, that's not like Wrigley. I mean, that weather swirls. And obviously, I should have been more involved in this earlier. We have this total at 7. It opened up at 7.5 last night at Penny and moved up to 8. This was at 8 this morning for 7 minutes. Now 7.5, now 7. Not only that, but the under is juiced. So a huge, huge move towards the under. God, I hate this. I feel like I'm just too late to the party. Then Webb's minus 128. He opened up at minus 147. This huge move towards the New York Mets, which is extremely hard to quantify. So here we go. Final game on the board here in MLB before we get into the 3-game NBA card. Take it away, Pistol Pete, Loshak, Mets, Giants.
Well, the Mets line move is very concerning. I mean, well, no, if you like San Francisco, I wasn't liking either side here, but I was not expecting that move, and I don't think it's misdirection. I think it means something. But my main lean on this game was to the under, and first half under, and I think that the line move doesn't really have me. Maybe the line move makes me like that even more. 7.5 when I saw it. I'm assuming that it's not there now. Yeah. So yeah, wow, big move to the under. So. Dude. I might add on the under as well to my official plays, even on this, even after this enormous move.
The Giants bullpen has been very vulnerable. Now they've only had 5 save opportunities all year, which is wild. And they're 3 for 5 in those. 5.47 ERA, 1.33 whip. Opponents hitting 252 against them. They have not. At this point, I don't know how you can trust them. And then the New York Mets bullpen's been very good. Now they've only converted 7 of 10. Save opportunities, but 2.85 ERA, 1.14 whip, points hitting 192 off them. It's a huge advantage for the New York Mets, which means that just takes me to this first 5 under. Jose Bouquett, final game on the board, my man. Take it away.
Yeah, you could probably guess I'm on the under here, and I am. First 5 under 3.5. I got it at minus 110. Bet it during the breakdown here. So we've talked about this before. It makes me really feel better about the bet when the line moves towards it, especially when all the money moves on the over. Am I late to the party? Maybe. I haven't had any, major issues with that yet. I definitely wanted to double up here. I definitely considered it. The Giants bullpen, I guess, is a little concerning, but I'm on the under 3.5 here. I'll just stick with that. Minus 110. We'll rock and roll. And I like the Mets here too. I mean, Luis Severino is one of my guys this year. I've been the leader of the Luis Severino bandwagon as well, thinking that this was going to be a good bounce back year for him, that he was going to succeed, and he's been doing great. So shout out to Luis. Dog and under for me here, but official 3.5 under -110.
The full game's moved to 7. Are you going to stay off the full game?
Yeah, I'm staying off the full game. I had it lined up and ready to pull the trigger, but I'll just stick with the 1, and we'll rock and roll with that.
Do you think that the Mets have such a big advantage come bullpen time that they're worth backing here?
I definitely did have Mets written down as well, money line, and I am interested in them. Truthfully, I wanted to hear some other people, give me some more confidence in the Mets here. But total, it's very interesting. Like you've mentioned, 85% of the bets and 62% of the money on the Gigantes here. And Bet Online, this opened up at, I believe, -135, and it's dropped down to -127 here. What did Pinnacle have this at?
On the money line?
Yeah.
There's been a huge move. Opened up the Giants at -147 at 8:18 p.m. last night. It's moved 19 cents towards the New York Mets. The Giants are now -128.
Okay. Well, I will. My double up will not be on the totals. Then I'll be on the New York Mets full game money line. So first 5 money line, first 5 under 3.5 and full game money line for me. Your full game money line is +118.
Yeah, I agree. I'm right there with you. I'm gonna join you. Pete, do you have anything for Mets Giants?
Yes, I'm adding on first 5 under 3.5 -110. Bet Online. Everyone else has a little bit worse than that, so I'll take the Bet Online line on that one. And I may well be on the Mets by the time this game goes, because that's a move and a half right there against Logan Webb at home. Come on, that's a move and a half right there. So I might tail it. We'll see. I don't know.
All right, let's review all action here. So let's review all action. But I would like you guys to. So Jose will review his action. Peter will review his action. That's how we're going to go. Even though I've got it all written out, it's just in case I've messed something up here. So for me, I tripled up on one game, which the Jays game, and but here Jose on the A's with TJ and others on the first 5 plus a half. I'm going to join them. Then I'm going to decide whether it's a full game or first 5 under in White Sox Twins. Then I've tripled up on the Jays game. I'm on the first 3 under 2.5, the first 5 under 4.5, and the Jays first 5. Then I'm going to add the Rockies first 5, the first 5 under in Orioles Angels, the first 5 under in Mets Giants, and the New York Mets. That's my card. Jose, go over your card, please.
Yeah, so I'm actually going to lock in the parlay of the day here. It's not really like a dedicated parlay of the day, but whenever Troy drops a cash cow, I instead of being a man and taking the run line, I instead just put it in a money line parlay. Yesterday was the Blue Jays, so that cash, great, lovely. Today it's going to be Braves money line -250, and to make it especially juicy today, Rockies first 5 not plus a half. Rockies first 5 money line +120 there, so it's almost 2-1 there. I believe I'd guess +205, but I cannot do math. I'll do the calculations for it later. Phillies first 5 -130 on my card. Tigers Tampa Bay Rays under -115. Oakland A's plus a half, first 5 innings, +115. Astros Cubs over 10, -120. The Rockies double up there, first 5 +120, full game +132. Mets Giants first 5 under 3.5, -110. Mets full game money line, and the aforementioned parlay that I did just mention. And I will say I have an NBA play. Shout out to Mikey Money. But I guess I'll talk about that here in a second when we get to it.
I imagine that is a first half under on the way. Pistol Pete Loshak, take it away. Your action MLB.
Okay, by the way, I'm also adding on Luis Severino over 4.5 strikeouts, -113 current line at Caesars. It's worse than other places. I'll take the Caesars line. All right, so I'm going to go over all my plays. If I don't mention the book, that means it's Pinnacle. If it's not Pinnacle, I'll mention the book. Philly Reds, first 5, over 4, -138. Kenta Maeda under 4.5 strikeouts -157. Bet online. Rogers under 4.5 strikeouts -107. Houston Cubs running the first inning. Yes -135. Caesars. JP France under 4.5 strikeouts -111. Caesars. Baltimore Angels running the first inning. Yes +103. Mets San Francisco first 5 under 3.5 -110. Bet online. And Severino over 4.5 strikeouts -113. Caesars.
I love it. I love it. Lonzo's saying, do you have a best bet? I guess I would lean towards the Winnipeg Jets. And then in the MLB, I think, honestly, at this point, I think the most likely casher is that Giants-Mets first 500 that we just talked about.
Yeah, because of the ridiculous market movement there.
And the wind blowing out, and we know that it doesn't really matter in that ballpark. So, and it's blowing out pretty heavy. I think that's all kind of working in our favor. But my favorite bets were the unders in Toronto, KC, with Walker, Gaussman first 3 and first 5 under, and then the Jays first 5. So, all right, that is MLB here. I'm very excited to see how it all bangs out. You guys have both been excellent so far this year. Please continue it. It means so much to all of us watching you guys succeed. So keep up the great work. Jose, you'll join us back here when we close up the show. But excellent work, my friend. And Pistol Pete Loshak, it's time to move on to NBA. Now, Jose, which game is your NBA action in?
First one, first half under. I mean,
why don't you stick with us?
It's just been cash.
But why don't you stick with us? Stick with us for that first game breakdown. Let's move on to NBA here, Pete. And again, with the success of Operation Garcia, I don't care as much about getting action out. I've never seen an angle like this before. In all my life, I've had so many people tell me that they have an angle, this works. You got to, and I track it and find a hole in it. This is the first time I've ever not found a hole in it. The question is, how long will we be able to bet it before we're kicked out of a book or stopped by our local? So all of these questions will be answered. I tell you that much. They will be answered.
I'll tell you, Jimmy, that I'm quietly going to run my own Operation Garcia today on Suns Timberwolves as well to see how it goes. Much smaller units, but I want to see how it goes and then see, I want to see, I guess I need to mathematically see how much credit I have, how much I can do and all that stuff. But yeah.
Well, we were through 17 games and 0 have gone to overtime.
Yeah.
So that's been helpful. But now you're going to join an angle that's hitting at 59.1%, up 31.95 units with an ROI plus 11.88%. I mean, it's just...
I've been also thinking about how it translates to other sports as well. I mean,
but that's what everybody's been saying to me. Like, well, it'll work in NHL too, and all that. I'm like, what? Look, this has been tracked for 3 years. Stop being creative. Stop being creative. Shut up and make money. So,
do you want the quick answer, Jim?
Yeah.
It was a thing in NFL, of course, and they would do it not with the playoffs, but with certain win conditions. And it was when places had kiosks when sports betting was made legal, and there were guys who would just go to the kiosks and bet as much as they could anonymously. And there's some funny stories about all that. And eventually, and now that doesn't exist anymore in the NFL props, but for a while it did with NFL, not playoffs, but with win games. And there'll be books written about it. The guys who would go to the kiosks, try to bet over and over again. The guys from the casinos would come in and treat them like criminals and like escort them out, freeze the tickets, all that shit. Because this is not new.
Yeah, Land of the Blinded, we'll go over it again. As we've been going over it every show for a while. We haven't been tweeting about it, but we've been going over it.
Yeah.
So Pete, do you think that I could go into the Superbook, with $70K on me and put $2,000 on each player prop under?
You never know until you try. The important thing is to get while the getting's good and know that the getting will not be good eventually. Gets taken away. You used to be able to bet Wong teasers blindly. and just cash like that. So, the answer is be happy about it. Get it while the getting's good. Don't dawdle. And then when it goes away, be like, well, we knew that was going to happen.
I've read different things about limits on player prop action. Do you know, is every book different?
Well, it depends on how much they know who you are. You know what I mean? Like limits. And that's why that's why people are like, the people, if you go to like Bet Bash and stuff, people aren't like, how do we beat the books? They're like, how do we get more outs? You know what I mean? That's the big thing. They're like, how do we beat the book? I haven't even considered that question in 8 years. They're just trying to get outs. You know what I'm saying?
8 years.
Okay.
So,
what were you doing 8 years ago, Pete?
You're looking at it. This shit. You're looking at it. Some people progress, which is great. Some people don't, which is okay. If that's
Fair.
what they want to do in life. I hope you make some progression 8 years from now, Jose Bouquett.
Joseph Gomez says FanDuel limits you after 7 or 8 prop wins. Troy Torrance says FanDuel will take all my action. And
that's why people would go to the kiosks, because they wouldn't get limited, because at a certain level, because kiosks are anonymous,
Mm-hmm.
And they wouldn't sign up, and people would be like, "Hey, would you like a player's card?" And they'd be like, "No, thanks."
Yeah, we're going to answer all these questions over the next little while, and we again thank Dennis Garcia for taking us to the dance. It's a very, very simple situation. There's heightened defensive intensity in the playoffs and a propensity for one player to go off. So we're just betting every player prop on the under, every single player prop on the under. Now, the record through 17 games is better than it's ever been. I tracked Dennis do it last year. This is better than it's ever been. It's 159, 110, hitting at 59.1%. As I said, plus 31.95 units, plus 11.88%. I've missed a couple late additions. Those late additions are gold. They're all 2.5 point player props, and then now they put them down to 1.5 and put them at plus 150 to the under. They're cashing it. All the plus money spots are cashing, which goes against a lot of the ideology towards player props. So I bet them all, each one at $200 a pop, and I'm up $5,860. And I do not think a next Loshak in the bag show that I'll be allowed to be betting these.
You really think so? You think that's your guy's going to cut you off? I mean, I understand. Obviously, it's money out of his pocket, but damn. That's fast.
We'll see. We're all going to see.
Yeah. And by the way, Justin wants to know if this is running throughout the whole playoffs. I can answer that. Yeah, it is.
Yeah. It is. It's just points. Just points. Of course, it's just points. That's okay. So, we're all going to learn about it. Again, we've gone 6 days and 17 games. It's gone 13-4. And we'll talk about it for more here.
And by the way, I don't know if you saw
North Enders.
Yeah.
Sources tell Daily Faceoff Thatcher Demko's out for game 2. If Thatcher Demko's out for game 2, he's done for the playoffs.
Yeah, I saw that as well. And I saw a couple other people talking about it.
Wow. That is absolutely giant information. Okay, I know let's get into NBA, but that is giant information. Let's see if the line's changed. It has. Predators are down to plus 120. Ooh, shit.
Who's your backup?
Casey DeSmith.
Oh, I was hoping it was
but even something's going on with DeSmith, because Seelovs was brought in as an emergency. Oh, there's Pete gone. So why don't you stick with me here for me? But Seelovs was brought in for an emergency spot. So Justin McKelvey says, Jose, tell Jimmy to look at comments. That's all I do.
Don't worry, Justin. We got you, Justin. He's doing it for the rest of the playoffs. We got you. He's going for the rest of the playoffs for the Justin wants to take out some money.
You guys who are coming to the party late, it's not going to hit at the rate that it has hit, because we haven't had one game go to overtime yet.
And your worst game, like you mentioned, your worst game's what was it? 8 and 9, down 2 units.
2.2 units, down $498. That was game 1 Heat at Celtics.
Yeah, I've been trying to tell my gambling friends about it too, and it's just like, it's funny when you tell people about it, they kind of look at you like you're ridiculous. Like, why would you do that? There's no way that makes sense. But like, the proof's in the pudding here, and once you tracked it for 3 years, I mean, come on.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's just about how much can we get away with. All right, and that's the most important question. If we went to Vegas with 200K, what will we be allowed to do?
Yeah, I would love to do that. That's the thing that'd be interesting, going to Vegas and betting all these unders.
Well,
here
they'd
as
also,
well.
and also like another thing is, you wouldn't. I know. We'll get into all that stuff.
Leonard is right there with you. He said, first day of the play, and I did $10 a prop. The next day, 20. Saturday, 50. Sunday, 75. And yesterday, 100. It's like crack. I think I'm stopping at 100, though.
Now, Troy, my ROI doesn't quite fit the way I'm betting it. I did track it for ROI, just like with unit size, but I'm betting everything flat at 200. So even if it's minus 160 or if it's plus 140, I'm just putting 200 on it. My ROI is plus 11.88%. Okay, let's get to work here in NBA. And again, obviously, this is the only thing I want to talk about. If I go to a children's birthday party, I'm just sitting in the corner talking about it.
No, I mean, yeah, I the same way. Like I try to tell my gambling friends about it. They don't give a fuck. I try to tell Helga about it. She obviously doesn't give a fuck, but yeah.
I mean, look, I don't know exactly. Look, this is just nuts. Okay, it's the first hole we've ever found in the books, and those holes close up pretty quick. So we'll see how this bangs out. We're going to see who gets stopped. I know a couple of cappers who their odds have changed in the books that they're doing it on, and they don't get live betting opportunities, which is such a weird thing to give them when it's all pregame bet. But we're just watching how the books are going to react, and we'll talk about it here together.
I can't wait for you to write you and Julian Cesario to co-author a book called The Garcia Project.
Dennis Garcia brought us to the dance. Mally Mal says, "Oh, sorry, Mally Mal. Yeah, we don't tweet it out. That's why it's just for us in here for the show. But yeah, we're taking every single player prop under.
Yeah, all the totals under.
Usually it's 18. Sometimes it'll be 15. You got to wait for the last 2 or 3 to come available. But let's get into NBA here right now. Jose Bouquett and I, Loshak's been having computer issues, so we're going to be handling this. We're going to need the help from you guys in the chat. But let's get to work here. We start at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. BJ's best bet has come in. It is the Phoenix Suns +3. West first round, game 2. Minnesota leading the series 1-0. The Suns were a good road team, 24-17 this year, and the Timberwolves were a really good home team at 30-11. We're the target center, Minneapolis, Minnesota. A lot of the situations that we've seen here thus far in the playoffs, are really easy to explain. Things will get trickier to explain as the series go on, but we all know that. At least I shouldn't say we all know. For me, game 2s are the highest ROI in NBA and NHL that you're ever going to get. And I think that plays a role here. We're using Pinnacle line movement. So let's start with the Suns game. This opened up with the Suns +3 at -105. They're now +3 at -107. It did dip to 2.5 for a little bit. It's right back where it started. So we have 2 cents of movement. That's it on the Phoenix Suns, 2 cents of movement. On the total side of things here, we are dealing with a 212. It opened up at 213. We've dropped a point. We know that first half unders have been cashing nonstop. We also know that unders have been cashing really nicely here, although some first half unders have not followed through into the full game. We got Pistol Pete back in business.
I don't know what's going on here, but hopefully it won't go out again. We'll see. Probably will, but.
Well, let's just roll while we have you right now. From a cash flow perspective here, we have 38% of tickets and 68% of the cash on the Minnesota Timberwolves. On the total side of things here, we have 52% of tickets and 80% of cash on the over. Troy Torrance is on the Wolves, says based on market history in the playoffs as well as the toughness factor, I would prefer to be on the Minnesota Timberwolves here. There's a lot of spots where I want to back the team that lost game 1, and this is not one of them. And it's because I've always questioned sort of the heart of the Phoenix Suns basketball team. And it's a somewhat similar situation as we're dealing with Colorado Avalanche, Winnipeg Jets, where I'm back on the Jets in game 2. So Phoenix, over the last 10 games of this regular season, was playing at the 21st fastest pace. They were shooting the ball nice, 46.9 from the field and 38.9 from 3. In their first playoff game, the pace was right around that. It was just a 0.75 possessions a game slower. But they shot very poorly, 44% from the field and 32.1% from 3. Minnesota did not close the season very strong. 6-4, 16th fastest pace, and they were shooting the ball exactly how they shot the ball in game 1. So I don't see why anything would change here in game 2 for them, although we can expect the Suns to shoot better in game 2. Minnesota coming off the dominant 120-95 win in the series opener. Phoenix was only down 4 in the third, but T-Wolves took over the basketball game and went for 33, 14 of 40, 14 for 24 shooting. He went 4 from 8 from 3, 9 boards, 6 assists. He looked very good. Cat getting more comfortable, 19.7 boards. He's expected to take a bigger and bigger role. And then Nickeil Alexander-Walker rolling. His uncle, as a kid in school with Ella, Foots was very proud of Nickeil. Who wouldn't be? He looked very good. 18.7 of 12 shooting. He's a real good basketball player, and I expect him to have a good career. KD went for 31. He went 11 of 17, but nobody else did squat. Booker went for 18, 5 of 16 from the field. Beal went for 15, 6 of 10 from the field. And Grayson Allen twisted his ankle. He finished with 4 points in 25 minutes. He's expected to be good to go here. Now, BJ's best bet, the Suns, maybe I should just stay off of it. But after sitting with this for a little while, I don't see why the Timberwolves don't do it again. But I do not want to go up against BJ. Let's start with the bet that's cashing, sort of like our player props. Jose, tell us your move here.
Yep, first half under, right there with Mikey. Mikey knows all the numbers much better than I do, but so go check him out on last call today. Obviously, 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central. But first half under 109 minus 115. I bet it yesterday, the first game. It cashed. I don't know what the start times or how they stagger the start times for the NBA games. Obviously, I don't pay attention too much, but I would love if I could just bet this first half under. The second game starts as halftime starting. Then I bet the other first half under, and I bet the other first half under when that happens. So yeah, I think that's just keep betting unders, guys. This is the playoffs. This is where in times defense gets tight, and it's just time for defense to reign supreme. So under for me. First half, I'll be betting it, and hopefully all these games.
Yeah, Sean, I'm guessing, and you have more information than us, but I'm guessing that Demko's done for this season. I'm guessing again, but yeah, Casey DeSmith. This is not what I'm sure. There's Canuck fans crying right now. Pistol Pete Loshak, Suns Wolves, take it away.
That's not good though, because maybe Vancouver will be like, all right, now we're going to really defend, even though you'd think that they'd be the playoffs. So I don't know. That's interesting though, Jim. All right. I would, I don't know. I'd love to take a shot with Phoenix first quarter. They won the first quarter in the first game, and you got to think that they'll come, but then it seems like Minnesota is at the moment just too good. So I guess I'm going to pass. Definitely leaning first quarter plus a half for Phoenix though.
Yeah, I'm comfortable staying off of the spot. It wasn't a big edge for me here, so I'm comfortable staying off. Jose is on the first half under here. Let's roll into game. And also, again, the pressure to make any moves is just gone. Because I'm going to, at this point.
Yeah, well, you have fucking 1,800 bets in for the NBA at night. Why keep pushing it? Shit, I get that.
Every single email I get, I like, okay, there's nothing. I'm not stopping at this point. I don't know. No one has said anything to me. I was so afraid of sending in where I stood. I was like, I didn't want to send it in, but he's not replied. Let's move on to the next spot on the board. 8:30 p.m. Eastern, East first round game 2. Milwaukee leading the series 1-0. Indiana Pacers 47-35, 21-20 on the road at Milwaukee Bucks 49-33, 31-11 at home. We're at Pfizer Forum in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Let's get into the line history here now. This was a bigger spot for me where, I do not believe. Okay, so sure, the Suns can shoot better than they did. The Wolves will probably shoot around where they shot. Here, this was a game where I simply don't believe Milwaukee will shoot at the level that they just shot, but it's not much difference than they were shooting in the last 10 games. The bigger thing is I expect the Pacers to shoot much better, and I'm not one of those guys who's sitting here saying Tyrese Halliburton's clearly hurt, because everybody's saying that. He played 38 minutes. I don't understand, if he played 30, why he wouldn't, So here we go. This total line movement wise is sitting at 223.5. Opened up at 225. This got down to 221 before there was buyback and legit buyback. On the spread here for this one, again, these are pinnacle line moves. We are sitting at Indiana +1 at -108. They opened up at -105, so we now have 3 cents of movement towards them. We didn't for a while. We did not for a while. BJ on the Bucks money line here. So let's get into the cash flow for this one. On the total, 23% of tickets and 63% of cash are on the over. So a clear thought that the Pacers are going to shoot the ball much better in this one. But then you have sharp action on the Bucks, 52% of tickets and 78% of cash, which is a bit of a surprise to me. So Indiana, over the last 10 games of the year, shot 51.8 from the field and 37.4 from 3. Then in game 1, they shoot 39.6 from the field and 21.1 from 3. I'm certain they're going to shoot better in this game. And Milwaukee really didn't shoot the ball that incredibly well in game 1. It was the fact that the Pacers couldn't hit anything. So I think that it's fair to believe that Milwaukee will shoot near around what they shot in game 1. It's the Pacers that are going to change, and that is probably why there's sharp action on the over. Now, Indiana has lost 10 straight playoff games. So this began in game 7, 2018 first round loss against Cavaliers. Is that in their head? Is that an issue? So I don't think it is. I mean, you can label them as a pack of losers, but this is a completely different roster than what started this, losing brigade. They're changing the whole storyline about this basketball team. So Dame goes off last game. Goes off. He looks spectacular. This is a Pacers team that averaged 123.3 points per game, coming in off of putting up 94 in game 1. I mean, I can certainly sit here and Viper believing in the Bucks again. We also know that in that first opportunity for a team to step up without the star, they do, and they don't seem to follow that up in the second. Now, Viper saying Pacers can't hang and Halliburton hurt. If Halliburton was hurt, he would not have played 38 minutes. Nobody's 100% right now. Topset says 0 wins still looms. So the Bucks were in complete control of that basketball game. Chris Middleton played great. Bobby Portis played great. And only one player stepped up for the Pacers, and that was Pascal Siakam. He goes for 36 and 13. This is a spot where I will stop. I will stop, and I will say, look, I don't believe the feel-good glory that the Bucks had. And maybe they win the series. Look, the opportunity to get on the Pacers at plus 205, I couldn't believe it. I didn't take it. It moved to plus 160 so quickly. We're right back at that number. Do I want... I don't need to move on this series, even though now it's back around that price range. I think the Pacers bounce back in this basketball game. I really do. And, and like Land of the Blinded saying Pacers are done taking my money. Fuck them. I mean, and Topset saying boo, don't. Look, I don't. This isn't a popularity contest. So I feel that anytime a team steps up enormously without their star player, I want to fade them the next game. I've always been that way. So I'm going to fade them here in game 2. Equinema says you wouldn't want a bigger spread with the Pacers. I think the spread is telling us everything we need to know about this basketball game. And so I am here going to move comfortably on the Indiana Pacers.
Hey, is this fucking shit up? Do you want me to just go, or do you want me to just keep coming back?
Good. It's all good. Okay. We only have one game after this. Don't worry about it. So
I mean, I was definitely leaning Pacers at least first quarter and first half, and I know that everyone's supposed to take unders and especially first half unders, but I was thinking Pacers first half team total over, something like that. I agree with everything you said, or I think you said, or you hinted that you were going to say. I was definitely leaning Pacers first half, first quarter, and maybe team total over.
Yeah, and I think that idea of backing the Pacers early is smart. And maybe that will allow me to invest a little more in this basketball game. I would prefer first quarter over first half, but maybe that's a mistake. Did you have a preference over first quarter or first half?
I'll do them both. I'll do them both. Whatever. I'll do them both. First quarter is where are we? Yeah, plus a half minus 110. This is at Pinnacle. I'll search around for a little bit, and then the first half is can't even find it. Plus a half minus 112. I'll take both of those.
I think I'd rather go first quarter and full game here. So I'm going to be moving on the Indiana Pacers, and we'll deal with the consequences. DC Capper also on the Pacers here in the under 216. Doug with me as well. North End is saying all those people who love Pacers game 1 will now want the Bucks. I think it's Pacers or pass here. Sportsman of the Year is with me as well with the Pacers, and I like it. D Mills says Pacers not playoff tested. Ask Orlando. Look, those are all fair sentiments. Those are all completely fair, but I challenge the Milwaukee Bucks, who feel so good about themselves, to do it again. That's all. Go out there and do it again. Okay. We roll on. Let's talk about the final spot on the board and the final spot on today's show. We have our guy Razor Sharp picks Gambler's First Glance here. It is the Mavericks Clippers under 216 and a half. Let's get into this line history here for this one. Clippers are sitting here right now -1 at -111. The big talk is Kawhi Leonard will be in the lineup. Can we get that confirmed from Cappers in the chat? That will explain the move. From a total side of things here, we're sitting at 216 and a half. This opened up at 219, so we've dropped all the way down to 216 and a half. When we get to the cash flow in this one, you have 7% of the tickets and 62% of the cash on the LA Clippers. That's pretty wild. So obviously, people knew that Kawhi was gonna play and placed huge bets on the Clippers. 71% of tickets, 74% cash on the over, and this keeps dropping. That's why the Gambler's First Glance. That's why it was so appealing to Razor Sharp picks. Landed the Blinded says Clips again. Dallas shot 38.8% from the field in game 1, 30.3% from 3. They were horrible. It was just two players making things happen, and it was ugly to watch. Their last 10 games of the regular season, they shot 46.3 from the field and 36.2 from 3. I think we can expect numbers closer to that. And then the Clippers shot 50% from 3. This is the same thing. Now we have the extra advantage of star player back in this one, but this is the same thing that we talked about. Who are the Bucks going to be able to shoot? Is Dame going to go for 35 in the first half? I'm going to bet against it. Now, I'm not going to bet right now on the Dallas Mavericks. I want the market to continue moving towards the Clippers. Saturated said Zubac made Gafford look like trash. Now, Gafford did hurt himself in that game, and he only played 14 minutes. But while he was in there, he did not look good. BJ, I'll talk about that right after we hit this one here. A number 4 seed Clippers played 9 straight games without Kawhi, and now he's back here. Zubac, the whole offense ran through him. That was very smart. 20 points, 15 boards. Harden looked great. 6 of 11 from 3 for 28 points. Paul George, just 4 for 12 from 3, but put up 22 points. And Zubac had 12 and 10 in the first half alone. Mavericks railed to 8 points in the second quarter. Luka went for 33 and 13. Irving went for 31. But they combined to go 1 of 10 from 3. I just don't expect them to do that again. PJ Washington had 11 for the Mavericks. Now, I want to see how far this line moves. I do not think that the whole game will go through Zubac again, because I believe that it's going to be pretty easy for a kid to come up with something for that. So I would like to move on the Dallas Mavericks here. I would like to. I don't know if I get there now. Maybe I want to hear what everybody's saying in the chat. So take it away, Pistol Pete Loshak. Are you moving on this one?
I'm going to do the same. Mavs first quarter, first half. Quote the Pinnacle lines here and then shop around. First quarter plus a half, -111. First half plus a half, -106. That's both at Pinnacle, and I'll shop around for something better.
Yeah, I'm just going to move on the Mavs full game, but I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait. So I'm right with you. And the Gambler's First Glance of Dallas Clippers under 216.5 will be something I will keep in mind when I'm live betting this game. Mally Mal says Kyrie fizzles out in the second half. So back to the Bucks Pacers spot. BJ says, I don't think the Bucks are fat and happy because Pacers own them in the regular season. If anything, the Bucks want to beat the shit out of this team. And I don't see the Pacers stealing one tonight. We're not going to always agree with each other. And I'm not saying that the Bucks are fat and happy, but they sure feel relief. They sure feel pretty good about themselves handling everything in game one the way they did. And if you're going to tell me that this Pacers team is heartless and no character and Halliburton's hurt and all that, then by all means, go bet the Bucks. That's all good. And look, this is about finding angles. You don't have to agree with everybody. But the most important thing about the show is then you put your money where your mouth is. You make the bets, you deal with the consequences. And I'm going to do that. And I'm going to be on Pacers first quarter and full game. Pete's on Pacers first quarter, first half, and he's on Mavericks first quarter, first half. And we'll see how it all bangs out. And Land of the Blinded says, love the public pick on the Mavs. I'd be curious, Land of the Blinded, how public it will be once the public all knows that Kawhi's in. So you're right, Land of the Blinded. If we come to tip off and we're sitting here and we have 93% of the tickets and 38% of cash on Mavericks, I won't bet them. I just don't believe that's going to be the case here. Now we'll see, because there's 31,579 tickets in. We'll see. We'll see. That's part of the fun of it all. But I agree with you, Land Blind. If this was the final numbers for this game, I would not find the Mavericks appealing. So,
and I'm also going to add on. Sorry, I'm also going to add on the under in this one to my official record. I guess I'll take 216.5. Sure, that's okay. Current line Pinnacle. I'll also take under 216.5 at Pinnacle.
I like it.
Sorry, 216.5 minus 106. Right.
And Top said saying there's a hole in the same game parlay when you have the team total under to any play. Yeah, no, that's interesting take. Top said I'll copy and paste that. All right, it's time to review all action, and then we've got a lot of bets to make here, a lot of additions. So let's review all action here. And Jose, why don't you join back in with us as we review all action here. Again, Razor sent us his full Parks card. I'll pop that back in the chat for you guys here. And pop that in the chat. There you go. Smooth Balls play of the day, Baltimore run line. Then Subhuman Gaucho gave us Doncaster. Morgan Spooner already on the Giants and the Rangers. Stacks play of the day, Jordan Alvarez, RBI. Loshak moved on the Rangers minus. Actually, Loshak, why don't you review your NHL here? Why don't you? Because
okay, can I just review everything and then Jet?
Definitely.
Okay, so what do you want me to review? Everything from all sports?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, I'll go fast. I'm not going to quote the books that I quoted before. Rangers -1, -188. Lafreniere Point -117. Tampa Bay, Florida, first period under 1.5. Bet on 9 -105. Brandon Montour, no point -145. Miles Wood over 1.5 shots on goal -181. Josh Morrissey assist +100. Bet online. Kyle Connor over 2.5 -151 shots on goal. Nikolai Ehlers point -103. Bet online. Nashville first period +0.5 goal -191. Pedersen on no point +112. Bet online. Preds race to 2 +123. Caesars Evangelista over 2.5 shots +127. That's it for NHL.
I like it. And then just to add my NHL in very quickly, all three bets I made around 2 or 3 o'clock yesterday. I got the Predators +141, Lightning +159. And the Jets -109, and I won't be adding anything to any. I won't be adding that. I'm just going to stick with that. And then the plan is, if the Canucks win Game 2, that's fine. Immediately bet the Predators in Game 3. If the Panthers win Game 2, that's fine. Immediately bet the Lightning in Game 3. Let's move on to MLB here. Pete, take it away.
All right, I'll go fast here. What do we got? Philly, Cincy, first half over 4 -138. Maeda under 4.5 strikeouts -157. Rogers under 4.5 strikeouts -107. Houston Cubs. Oh shit! I think when I restarted my computer, I lost. Fuck, motherfucker. Houston. All right, sorry. Here. Oh right. Okay, sorry. Houston Cubs. Running the first, yes, -135. Caesars. JP France under 4.5 strikeouts -111. Orioles Angels run in first, yes, +103. Mets San Francisco first half under 3.5 -110. And Severino over 4.5 strikeouts -113. Caesars.
I love it. I love it. In MLB, Jose, can you hit us quickly with your action?
Yes, my action. Phillies first 5 -130. Tigers Tampa Bay under 8 -115. The A's plus a half plus 115. Astros Cubs over 10 -120. Rockies double up first 5 plus 120. Full game plus 132. First 5 under 3.5 -110 in the Giants game. Mets full game plus 118 in the Giants. Braves full game, Rockies first 5 parlay.
I've got some decisions to make on the MLB card. The under and Tigers Rays, I'm liking. I'm going to be on the
Hey, Jim.
Yeah.
Sorry. It's been a great show, Crazy. You mind if I jet?
Not at all. Not at all.
All right. Good luck, everyone. See y'all next Tuesday. What a wonderful show.
Be well, my man. I'm going to be on the Jose first 5 plus a half with you guys. Then,
what do you think he's doing? What's he so busy doing? I wonder.
He's a very mysterious man.
Yeah.
He's a very mysterious man.
I wonder.
Full game or first 5 on the under in Chicago, Minnesota. I got to make that decision. Then I tripled up on that Jays game. First 3 under 2.5, first 5 under 4.5, and the Jays first 5. And then first 5 with the Rockies, the first 5 under in Baltimore Angels, and then both the first 5 under and the New York Mets full game here. So those are my MLB spots. In NBA, I'd like to take the Timberwolves. I don't know if I can get there at this point. BJ's best bet on the other side. I don't feel like I have the conviction to go up against it. The first quarter Pacers and the full game Pacers, I'm going to be on, and part of the fun. And then I'd like to be on the Mavericks. I expect to be on the Mavericks. I just want more money to come in on the Clippers now that Kawhi is playing. So I'd like that a lot. And Gambler's first glance is Dallas Clippers under 216.5, and Loshak's on the Mavs first quarter, first half, and the under 216.5. And maybe that's another thing. Maybe I should also move on the under 216.5. So I've got those decisions to make. And that is our show for today. Thank you to Dennis Garcia, first and foremost.
We're just going to name this show the Dennis Garcia Show eventually. God bless him.
And I will meet him now. Are
you going to invite him on the show?
I don't think he wants to be like publicly on shows. And that's fine, because this is about being in your comfort zone when you roll with us. So whatever you're comfortable with. But I'm going to take him out for dinner for sure. I got to take him out for dinner. And
well, is he going to make you feel like an asshole when he's like 22?
If he is, whoever he is, it can be anything. That's the thing about gamblers. I mean, you can be. I don't care. It's about getting paid. That's all I care about. That's all I care about.
Shout out to Dennis Garcia, who's clearly 28 years old.
And all of you guys: Top Set, Red Girl, Air Dog, DC Capper, Christopher Comentini, Land of the Blinded 2, North Ender, all to Byron. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I got to figure out how to pronounce that properly. Saturated, Bo Jackson, The Truth Teller, Mally Mal, Sean Pulliam. Thank you guys. Truly, truly. Dav Fenn, My Dude, BJ, Troy Torrance, Top Crocodile, A Chosen One. Thank you guys. Truly, truly thank you for the support. We have a huge week ahead of us. We've been running really, really strong, for an extended period of time, but it's not long enough, man. It's not long enough. Nuki, thank you. Sean, all you guys, thank you. We need to keep winning, and I need to step up my MLB game, because you guys, Jose's got off to a strong start, and so is Pete. I'd like to follow in that lead. UPK Yashala, thank you, my man. And Nuclear says, if you need a bodyguard for dinner, let me know. I will. Saturated says, do you watch Letterkenny? No, I don't. Not that I don't like it. My friend K. Trev is starring it. Mark Forward, Jeff McKenna. 3 of my close friends are stars in it. I don't watch any fiction, and I'll never watch any fiction again. It can fucking blow me. I don't have a second for fiction. So.
And I obviously don't know what the fuck that is, so.
I don't have a second for it. But and my friend, that's Forward and McHenry, who are doing the stand-up tour for Letterkenny. But yeah, no, I'm not going to watch 1 second of that shit. Not shit, sorry. It's probably a great show. I didn't mean no negativity towards the show. Great show. I just, if I just don't care.
If it's not real, we don't care.
If it's not sports, I'm not sitting here watching documentaries.
Well,
It's not sports.
I do. I learned a lot about Duran recently. Not my cup of tea, but I learned a lot about them. Shout out to Nuke though. I can't wait to have Nuke as your bodyguard. And I just want to see all the Canadians together. I'd like to see you, Nuke, Spenny, Gokster, Dennis, Saturate. I want all the Canadians to have a meetup one day.
Yeah, well, we're planning that this summer at Woodbine. So we'll get that together.
That'd be and Jimmy, again, one of my life goals is to get my guy, Martin Drexler, at Publipalooza 4. So you gotta reach out. That's the first time when you guys do the Canadian meetup. That's the time. Be like, hey, Marty, we're big fans.
Saturated says, do you consider watching Richard Pryor movies a waste of time? I don't. This is not about anybody else. If people love movies. If they need it, they need to relax. Go ahead, go do it. If you want to watch sitcoms, this is just about me. I don't want it. That's just me. It's not saying there. Everybody else, go do what brings you happiness. That's all. Okay, fuck.
Yeah, let's go fucking make some money. Shout out to Martin Drexler.
Fucking cash. Los bookmakers.